Hello, and welcome to the latest Genesis RPG Community Live play. My name is Ryle, and I'll be the GM for this adventure, The Old Road to Highcrest. This game takes place in the rune-bound setting, using the Realms of Terranoth sourcebook and the Genesis RPG system. I am joined by four players, some new to Genesis and some old hands in the narrative dice system. I think we'll go around and kind of get everyone's experience. First, Dave, Defrost303 on the forums. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with tabletop roleplay in general, Genesis, and then maybe a little bit about your character you'll be playing tonight?
So I'm kind of newer to tabletop role playing games compared to a lot of people that I hear, talking on the forums and stuff in the community. I actually didn't start till about 2016, and I started playing Pathfinder and Star Wars role playing game at the same time. And I pretty quickly was like, I realized that I liked the narrative dice system a lot more. Remember back then just thinking a lot like, oh man, if somebody figured out how to make this work for fantasy, that would be so cool. And then like right after that, it seemed like right after they announced that they were working on Genesis. So I was pumped about the system from the as soon as they announced it, pretty much. But since then, I've played a little bit of D&D, a lot of Star Wars, a little bit of Pathfinder. I stuck with that for about 2 years, and then since I've run several one shots and kind of smaller adventures in the Genesis system, but I don't get to play it very often. I did get to start a short Terranoth play by post once, and that kind of fizzled out pretty quick. So I haven't really gotten a chance to actually play a lot. So I'm pretty pumped about just getting in here and playing in the system.
And your character, Malshash, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Malshash.
An orc primalist?
Yeah, I liked the kind of way that orcs are treated in the Terranoth system. They have kind of this to me it feels a little, especially the Broken Plains kind of have this kind of indigenous, like Native American feel to it, and I really like their connection with the spirit world and all that stuff. So the primalists seemed like a really good fit for my character, and I just really wanted to play somebody with magic. But instead of going with the full-on kind of druid route, I decided to go with more the spirit speaker side of things, and so he's very connected to the spirit realm, the Emelin, and just his like ancestors, spirits, and things like that, and he calls upon them for help in his kind of overall quest.
Yeah, I love that aspect. So he's kind of like calling on his tribe spirit or his ancestor spirit, sort of.
Yeah, that was kind of the theme behind it. And so just a kind of a short rundown. He's because of his connection with them, he's had a lot of different visions of kind of this darkness to come. He doesn't really understand what's going to happen, but he knows that there have been ages of darkness before, and he's terrified that something like that could happen again. So he's left home mostly trying to see if he can get people on his side to come back and help with or stand up against it whenever the time comes. But on the way, he's got to do a lot of helping others to get people to help him out, right? So that's kind of his segue into just being an adventurer.
Well, that's awesome. So, Onaram, or Ona, are we going to call you today?
Nyram, yeah, you can just call me Ona for short.
Ona, cool. What is kind of your experience with Genesis or maybe role playing games more broadly?
It's actually my first time playing Genesis, although I've played the Star Wars game before, actually religiously for the past few months. Become a bit of an obsession for me, a healthy obsession, mind you. Before that, I played some D&D here and there, but mostly sci-fi oriented D&Ds with 5e and stuff like that. I'm fairly new to tabletop in general, and yeah, after playing the Star Wars game, I kind of wanted to apply the same narrative dice system to other different settings, and I heard about Genesis, so here I am.
And so your character is going to go by that same name, Ona.
Yeah, I made a very simple character. He's basically a tanky pirate who's looking for treasure, booty, and looking to get drunk wherever.
Okay, cool. So let's do, I guess, Mancer next. Mancer or Chris? Mancer on the boards. What's your experience with role playing?
Yes, I'm Chris. You can call me Chris or Mancer. It's fine. I'm not super experienced with Genesys yet. I've got a few of the core books and a ton of stuff from drive-through that I've read through, but haven't had a chance to actually play. I've run about 3 sessions, and I've played in about that many as well. Really lately been getting kind of really into the concept of the narrative dice system. And this will be my first time playing a magic user. I'm really kind of fascinated by the magic system in Genesys. As far as RPG experience, when I was a little kid, my older brother had some of the Palladium books, like Heroes Unlimited, Beyond the Supernatural. I never got to play, but I did make a bunch of characters, so that was kind of fun. My first actual playing RPGs was probably D&D 4th edition, back when that was a thing. Just a little bit of that. And I've played a fair bit of 5e as well, mostly on the GM side, and I've dabbled in Dungeon World. I've played that once, but I thought that was really interesting. Kind of got me into the apocalypse, the Powered by the Apocalypse. So I'm not like total noob, but I'm not an old hand either. I don't have a ton of experience. And I'll be playing Gord. He's a Forged Dwarf disciple of Kelos. For him, life in the monastery of Vinyl Vale didn't really suit him, or at least that's kind of what he tells people. He's definitely more of a hands-on kind of guy, following in the footsteps of Kelos, spreading the good word in a very direct, although somewhat unofficial capacity. So he's sort of more trying to walk the walk, where he thought praying in a monastery, yeah, you talk the talk, but he's trying to be more proactive, I guess.
Yeah, I love that background. I think that's really awesome. More a man of the people than one of these monks that's like, or devotees that's like ensconced in their high towers. That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. He's like out in the world, like trying to be the change he wishes to see, I guess.
Awesome. And talking about when you're younger and making characters, like sort of, I forgot who it was who said this, but the idea that when you play role-playing games, the actual game itself is of course play, but reading the books and theory crafting characters and being inspired by the idea of role-playing, that's part of play too, And I think that we all get involved with that part of it first before we actually get a chance to sit down at the table. So that's really cool.
Definitely. I also there were like those old like black and white drawings. These are my older brother's books, and I would take his books at night and like color in the pictures, and he got so mad about that.
Oh man. Okay, well, finally, Shadowbane. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've come to role playing and then your character as well?
Yeah, well, I've been playing role-playing games since, well, some of my earliest memories. I think it was about 5. We had found some of my brother's D&D books, and we took one look at them and just went, this is too much for us, but we loved the idea of it, so we used our little miniature muscle figurines in our backyards, and we had dice that we were throwing around, and that just got me really interested in imagination games with rules that everybody followed. And eventually I started reading the books, and I actually became obsessed with core rulebooks. So I got so many game systems, and that's part of the reasons why I got into Genesys. Was I had discovered the Genesys when I was looking at system agnostic settings like Fate and GURPS. And Genesys really appealed to me because I'd never actually seen one that played with these dice before. So I just fell in love with this narrative dice system, and then I started collecting all the books. And of course, COVID came around, so my party didn't really meet in person, and if you couldn't meet in person, they just didn't really want to meet. So I went through a sort of a drought of gaming, and with Genesys, I bought all the books, kept reading through them, and then I saw that we had this Discord channel that I joined up on, and I'm really excited to play my first game of Genesys, and actually my very first online role-playing game.
Well, good. I mean, I think it's really cool that we've seen a lot of people get their first experience through these live plays, which of course is the whole point, for people that are interested in the game, kind of see how it's played, or maybe even get their feet in the water here. That's really cool. That's like such a cool story to hear.
So I'm going to be playing Glint Goldheart. He's a scoundrel character who doesn't believe himself to be a scoundrel. He is basically the star of his own story, and he thinks everybody should know that he's the star. He likes to put himself first amongst everything else. He kind of believes he's an envoy character. He's the person that you go to when you need a mediator, somebody who's going to help fix the problems, and he knows all the answers, but really he doesn't. And he's convinced himself that he does, so he's very reckless and brash. Any idea that he comes up with has to be a good idea because obviously he came up with it. He grew up as a performer on the streets. After leaving his traveling family who would perform in the various cities because he just felt that they were holding him back. So he's always looking out for himself. Even though he has party members and friends and so forth, he really, if anything goes wrong, the scoundrel in him comes out and he just pulls out the blades and does what he has to do.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Well, it sounds like we've got a really great group and a cool party of characters for this adventure. So before we get started, just a brief note about tone and the concept of an X card. So if you're unfamiliar with an X card, it's a safety tool that allows players to sort of communicate when a scene has become uncomfortable or just too much, really. So if that happens, just DM me an X, no explanation needed, and I'll move on by fading to black or perhaps using a single roll to resolve a scene. So that way no one needs to really get into why they might be uncomfortable with something. We can just move on. Now let's begin. We find our adventurers just days after their first success as a team, traveling the old road to Highcrest. The well-trod road widens among wooded hills and through the edge of the eventide forest, rising toward the low plateau that gives Highcrest its name. We see the four travelers, their boots heavy on the hard-packed clay that sometimes gives way to wide bricks, hinting at the old grandeur of bygone days. I think maybe there's like a playful argument underway about the hard-fought battle a few days back. Maybe as Glent Goldheart recounts his daring feats against the last of the ogre troop. So if Glenn, if you're feeling it, maybe give us a little rendition of those last moments there.
Well, guys, I have to say we did fairly well. I mean, I just can't believe I came up with that idea about the exploding barrel of alcohol. Like, I know you guys wanted to drink it, but hey, if we weren't alive to drink it, it's going to waste.
Is there any left that I could have?
Well, if you wanted to go back and mop up the... Oh, wait a minute. Hey, Malsash, don't you have that wineskin still?
No.
Of course you don't.
Yeah, I don't feel like walking back. Let's just keep moving. Plenty of ale to get our destination, hopefully.
So as you guys are chatting here, let's see. So I think Glent is maybe a little too involved in his story, but anyone that would like can give me an average vigilance check.
Everybody or someone specific?
I know all the three remaining players. I feel like Glent is the kind to sort of get lost in his tale, if that makes sense.
Oh, it totally does.
Okay, good.
He's living it in his head as he's talking about it.
Mine was a wash. Gord is probably thinking back to the flames that he thought were completely beautiful.
They were beautiful flames.
He's reminiscing, and he's probably incessantly been sort of complimenting you on that.
And rightly so.
Thing, how the flames were truly blessed by Kelos. Gord would probably have suggested to Glint that he should be thanking Kelos for providing such magnificent flames.
My friend, if Kelos had something to do with it, I was his tool. He should be thanking me for having the opportunity to present it for him.
Gord will remember that.
Malshash hangs his head a little bit and kind of shakes it just like, oh, God. And then he looks up and he's like, you're just lucky we didn't set the whole place on fire.
It would have been magnificent.
So Malshash ended up with 2 successes and 2 threat on that roll. I think Malshash, if this makes sense to you, you're kind of accustomed to when your tribe was on the move, there was a certain amount of awareness that they required of everybody. The Broken Plains are not a safe place, so everyone needed to be aware and ready. So this kind of back and forth, this talking has sort of got you a little bit on edge. And then with those 2 successes, you note that up the road ahead of you, through the stands of trees, you see circling crows. And you know what that is a sign of. Usually maybe a battle or like a big kill by a predator animal. And so those 2 threats are going to weigh heavy on you and will have you take 2 strain.
And once I notice this, I'll kind of pipe up to the rest of the party and just kind of point ahead. But Malshash can be a little stoic at times when he's, he gets a little loosened up with the drink, but since we don't have any, he's kind of grumpy right now, maybe. But he points ahead and he's like, "That can never be good."
It's just a bit of birds.
Oh, man. Birds, they drop things everywhere. And if you know what I mean by things.
They're also a portent of danger.
I can handle danger.
And at Malshash's word, as he points up toward those swirling crows, on a ridge behind them, you can see a old broken stone tower sort of rising above these hills. You can see it's like sort of overgrown with vines and even poking through some of the cracks in the stone or tree branches. But that kind of just gives sort of a moment of foreboding as these crows circle overhead.
Well, Glint, I think, is going to look up at this tower and go, "You know, guys, I don't know about you, but I could sure use a rest. And that doesn't look so bad to me. I mean, we got birds. If they disappear, we know there's something to be afraid of. But otherwise, it's a warning system. How about we head over and check it out?"
Yes, and yes, there might be treasure inside.
I don't mind taking a look, but be aware that the birds might mean that it's already in trouble.
You think the birds have done something?
Yes, the birds have certainly done something.
We took on a bunch of ogres. I'm pretty sure a bunch of birds won't be a problem.
Birds are no threat to us.
Yeah.
Malshash hangs his head even lower.
So as the group continues to walk along this well-trod road, you come around a curve and you see the road rises ahead of you. And in the stand of trees ahead, that is where the crows circle. It's still quite a ways, maybe a kilometer or so before the tower. So whatever it is that the crows are circling is on the road, not much further up ahead.
Now, are we escorting a cart or something like that?
No, it's just the four of you. You're sort of on your way to Highcrest, having heard that there's work there.
Okay, so Glint sort of notices this in the background as it's been described and just nonchalantly and casually starts to step to the back of the group.
Can I roll a perception just to see if there's anything weird nearby?
Absolutely.
I know you said we're still about a kilometer away, but I think based on kind of just my gut feeling, my intuition, I'd be kind of wanting to try to keep alert as well. I'm not necessarily looking for something in particular yet, but I'm waiting for something to show that that my instincts are correct. Maybe a scent of like carrion or something on the wind, or or smoke or something that would tell me kind of what we're looking at here with these birds.
So let's have that perception check. It'll be an average check, but then so there'll be a black die as the trees ahead kind of provide quite a bit of shadow to what's going on up there. But then a blue die as Malshash has, spoken about how aware of the situation he's remaining.
What time of day is it? Is it like dusk? Is it?
We'll say midday. Yeah, the sun's pretty high overhead. So shadows are pretty stark below the trees.
Okay, here I go.
Okay, so on our so that's Ona got 0 successes but 2 advantage. So with the sort of the chat going on, the talk of potential treasure and maybe drink that might lie ahead when you get to your destination, there isn't really a lot of tension in your group, and you're not looking through the trees ahead. You're not really picking anything out in particular, but you do have 2 advantage. Do you have an idea of how you might want to spend those?
Say, are there any like hints, maybe of like a footprint or anything that should tell me to be ready?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, why don't we say that beside the road, you see some of the grass that's sort of the underbrush and the sparse trees leading up to this little wood ahead, that it's been sort of pushed down by heavy footprints. They're kind of, with the way that the grass has been pushed under the feet, you can't get a clear read on what type of being or creature or animal it might have been, but definitely something heavy. And then if you like with that other advantage, I can give you another little clue.
Sure.
Okay, so looking at these crows as they circle, you notice every now and then one will dip down, gliding down, something of interest, it's trying to get close, but then it'll veer up sharply. So something is frightening it away.
Yeah, we might keep our weapons handy, mateys.
Malshash is using his staff as kind of a walking stick as he treks, so he's already ready already.
So, can I draw my sword and keep it handy?
Absolutely.
Gord will see this. You expecting trouble?
I'm always expecting trouble.
Clint's the type of character who has his sword handy all the time.
I say you should always expect trouble.
Yes, especially when there's no tavern around.
Seeing his I think Gord he'll probably at least maybe get his shield off of his back, seeing how the others are kind of on edge.
Clint points at it and says, "Look, guys, the crow itself, it's flying back up. So obviously something's alive down there. Either it's close to dead and we can loot whatever he's got, or we can help him out, maybe get a reward. I'm thinking either way, we should go check this out."
Yeah, it might be dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of hungry. Might as well.
So how do you guys want to approach this next little rise, this next little thicket of trees?
Walk tall and carry a big sword.
Yep, that's me. I do want to potentially take cover on some of the trees and look ahead. Careful, keep my guard up.
Would you like to make a stealth check?
Yeah, if that's possible.
Can I, before this happens, I want to I'd like to cast augment on whoever's going first and try to give them a boost to their vigilance.
All right, that sounds good.
I'll go. Since I'm a tanky character, I guess I should go first.
I had something. Gord would probably wanted to use magic as well. With the predict spell, basically saying a prayer to Kelos, praying for vigilance. Essentially, would be using the Quicksilver reflexes of the predict spell.
Okay. So we've got two spells going on. Let's go ahead and have Malshesh's first. So you're casting Augment on Ona, since Ona was going to head forward first.
Yeah, I see that he's drawn his sword and as he starts kind of walking ahead, just thinking back of the conversation that was just had a moment ago about how they didn't seem to really pick up on what was going on with these crows, and he's just like, spirits guide you, and casts this spell on him.
So it's just is it just a basic Augment?
Yeah, I think so. Let me just check real quick.
While he's checking, how's the sides of the road? Is it like overrun with bush? Is it sort of a clearing?
So up till now, you've been sort of going in and out of small stands of trees as the hills are sort of increasing in their height, moving up toward this plateau. And currently, there's a scattering of pines and oaks to either side of the road, with kind of low underbrush. And then this thicket of trees, it's like a small wood, sort of stands atop the crest that's just ahead of you.
Okay. So Glint's sort of at the back, but he's not by himself. He's still close enough to the party, but Glint's going to keep an eye to the sides.
So for Malshash's spell, I'm also going to add Swift. So that'll increase the difficulty once, but it'll allow Ona also to ignore the effects of difficult terrain.
Oh no!
That's a bummer.
Oh,
Oh,
So unfortunately, that was 0 successes, but 2 advantage.
The spirits, I don't know. There's something, maybe I don't know. Does Ona, is he wearing like heavy armor or something? I don't know. Maybe they just aren't comfortable with him yet, and so they kind of just move back into me. But there is some sort of an after effect that lingers. So at least I would like to pass a boost to Ona's next check.
Absolutely. To choose a specific character would take 2 advantage, so that'll
Yes.
be those 2. Awesome. And then, so Mancer, you also wanted to cast a spell, is that right?
Yeah, I think Gord would, being sort of impulsive, would probably want to also go like sort of lead with Ona if he can, but he wanted to sort of utter a prayer to Kelos.
And this is going to be predict.
Yeah, predict with the Quicksilver reflexes, which doesn't change the difficulty; it changes the spell.
Oh yeah. So instead of asking a question of the GM, this will add, if successful, it'll add 2 successes to the result of any check you make to determine initiative.
So he'll sort of stop for a second and kneel on his mace and mutter something about, Kalos, light the way to what awaits us beyond.
3 successes. Very cool.
And he'll sort of stay knelt for just a second as though he's listening to something that only he can hear, and then he will try to sort of catch up to Ona.
So do we see any other effect other than sort of the silent prayer?
You might see a faint glow as he's sort of holding the mace that he sort of plants the mace on the ground and kneels next to it, and you might see just the faintest red glow of the head of the mace. But other than that, no strong visual effects on himself.
Okay. So Anna, as you move forward, being as stealthy as you can, remind me what kind of armor you're wearing?
I think I'm wearing leather.
Okay. Yeah, so that won't add any additional setbacks to your stealth roll. But you do get that blue die if you'd like to use it. The difficulty is going to be hard as you move up along the road.
Okay, so hard stealth.
Yes, a hard stealth check.
Okay, 3 purple. Any blacks or just
No, but you'll notice if you want, you can click add dice and you'll get to add that blue die on.
Okay, we go. Dang it.
Okay, 0 successes and 1 advantage. So as you move up the road, you do have a certain amount of natural dexterity. You haven't really spent much time trying to be stealthy in your life.
Right, yeah.
Maybe you hear Gord yelling like, "Hey, wait up!" So it's hard to be quiet. Like he missed the boat there. He didn't realize you were trying to be stealthy, and he's trying to like catch up to you.
So Owen is moving forward with his heavy sword, his 2-handed sword, held level with the ground, and kind of in a half crouch moving forward. His heavy boots kind of scrape against the ground, and an unnoticed twig gets crunched beneath his foot. And then, of course, here comes Gord up the trail behind, like everybody's younger brother. So what you guys see, so I'm going to say that you guys are a maneuver ahead of the rest of the group as they follow behind. And then as you enter this wood, what you see ahead is a kind of macabre scene. You see 2 wolves, very large, bulky wolves, feasting on a couple of horses, quarter horses. They look to be pretty well bred. They've got smooth coats, or at least they did before they were ripped apart by these wolves. But behind those horses is a carriage, a pretty fine carriage, actually. And from here in the shadows, it's hard to really make much else out as the wolves look up from their feast and lay their eyes upon you. So let's roll initiative.
Oh.
So you guys are all suspecting something to go on, so everyone will roll cool with no difficulty for initiative. And then as these 2 wolves, sort of growl in the back of their throats, you see a third around the back of the carriage.
Oh boy.
So as you see these wolves, a low growl in the back of their throats, their muzzles bloodied from the horses, from feasting on the horses, they begin to stalk toward Ona and Gord. And a PC slot is first.
Do the Final Fantasy battle music.
Okay, so basically one of us is going to go first, then the NPC, the wolves, then the other 3 of us, but 2 are in immediate danger. Who should go first between those 2, I'm thinking?
I think Gord's pretty impulsive, so unless you have something you want to do, Ona.
Am I first?
So the way that slots work in Genesys is when a PC slot comes up, any of you can act. So you can kind of like...
There's no order to the PC turns and all that?
Exactly. It's because it's a narrative system, that'll sort of flow back and forth from round to round. And it also kind of lets you guys position your characters in the best way to help each other throughout the round.
Okay. Is it the same way in Star Wars? I think the other DMs would actually place people in order. Okay. Well,
no, it should go the same way in Star Wars, yeah.
Okay, well, they're probably doing it wrong. Okay.
If you can see page number 34.
Lawyered.
Okay.
Well, if you're cool with Gord going first, he'll go.
Between you 2, are you guys going to stick around? One of you guys going to come back to warn the rest of us?
Well, so let's just kind of set a little more to the scene. So Gord and Ona are about one range band ahead of the rest of the group. and then you guys are at short range to the wolves. So for Gord and Ona, one maneuver would put you engaged with the wolves. And for the other two players, the other two characters, it would take 2 maneuvers. I think the other two guys they can, as these wolves kind of raise themselves up, like everyone's kind of seeing this all at the same moment.
Gord, he's gonna raise his mace and yell, "Avant!" at the wolves, and we'll see if this works. I'll look at my short range. Okay, you said we're in short range.
Yeah, short range.
He is going to he's gonna basically charge on in, raising his mace, and it's going to hopefully light up in flame. I'm gonna attempt the barrier spell with the add defense modifier, so this is gonna be 3 difficulty.
Oh, so 0 successes with 1 advantage and a triumph.
All right, well, he raises his mace and yells, and like flames out of nowhere begin to encircle him, but then they don't really hold. They sort of like spin around him, and then they fizzle out, and he sort of shrugs and charges forward anyway.
Okay, so Gord is going to lose those 2 strain as his spell unfortunately does not come to be. Now you have an advantage and a triumph there. So when you say charge forward, you're using your maneuver to move to engage with the wolves?
Yes. And
okay.
So I had 2 strain already. I would, if I could, just recover 1 strain with that advantage.
Absolutely.
From the spell I cast before. And for the triumph, I don't know, could something to do with like maybe the wolves are startled, maybe, but taken aback by that. Like they see the flame sort of erupt from him and then fizzle out, but maybe the flame startled them in some sort of way that might impair them.
What you want to downgrade their next action, basically?
I was thinking maybe like if they upgrade the difficulty against me, if they could.
Absolutely. Okay, so since you're now engaged with these wolves, they are going to growl and snarl and move forward to bite at you with their teeth. And in the process, they've got these 2 right here by the horses, and the other kind of coming around the back of the carriage. As they do, the one in the back kind of gives out a short howl, which is answered from the woods nearby.
Oh, lovely.
From what direction?
To the right, off in the woods. It sounds like maybe medium range to you guys in the darkness out there, or the shadows, I should say.
To the right of Glint, or
to the right of the group. So you guys are moving forward along this road.
Okay.
Ahead of you is this scene of carnage, and so to the right in the woods, at about medium range to the whole group. Ooh, and it is a miss. So they snarl and snap and try to get a hold of Gord.
He's got his brigandine armor, and he's got a shield as well. So maybe he's like batting them off with the
you catch one against the side of its head, and the other's teeth like slip off of your brigandine armor. Maybe gouge the leather between the metal sort of what are they, like little metal rivulets in the leather?
Yeah, it's like little metal pieces, and it's sort of like a reddish fabric that they're sort of woven into.
All right, let's move on to the next PC slot.
I've got this under control. Don't you worry about me.
You go, Gord.
I got your back, Gord. So, what is the distance between Ona and one of the wolves?
So they're at short range.
Short range. I move 1 step forward and attack the wolves.
Yeah, so you can think of like moving from short range into engaged as like dancing up and between the angry snaps and side steps of the wolves to get like a good angle of attack, basically.
Mm-hmm. There's 3 wolves, right?
That's right.
Are they all like really close to each other?
Yeah, so when they're in a minion group, when you target one, you're targeting all of them.
Okay. In that case, I get a black die. Because I have a talent called Duelist. Add a black die if engaged with 3 or more opponents. Does that count?
I think in this case it does, yeah, with minion groups.
Yeah. Okay, I get a setback. But yeah, I still choose to attack. Would it be an easy? I think engaged is easy.
So all engaged attacks, either melee or brawl, or they'll be 2 purple. Ooh. Okay, so we ended up with no successes and 2 threat.
Oh, that was not good.
I think, Ona, this is very much unlike the fight with the ogres. The ogres were fierce foes, certainly, but these dire wolves, they have an innate cunning, which is unlike anything you've quite faced before. So these 2 threat are going to add 2 strain to you as you realize the seriousness of this battle. And then we have another PC slot.
I'll take that one if that's cool.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so Malshash is going to he's going to take his staff and he'll kneel down and he kind of slams it into the ground. And as he does, you see that kind of flash of blue ethereal vapor pass up the staff and into the sky, and then it hammers down on top of the wolves. So I'm going to cast an attack spell with impact. This is called Spirit Fingers, by the way.
Awesome.
That's an upgraded difficulty, right? Because we're engaged.
Yes, that's true.
And you said the wolves are at medium range for me?
They
correct?
are, yeah. I mean, you could, of course, use a maneuver to move to short if you want.
Okay, can you aim attack spells?
You can, yeah. They are they're treated as any attack action.
Okay, cool.
I will whisper an extra prayer to spend a maneuver to aim this.
Oh yeah, you have a staff, right? So your first range increment is free.
Yes. So this is just a 2 difficulty spell, but you said upgraded once because it's engaged, correct?
That's right.
Wow, very nice.
That is a hit. 4 successes and an advantage.
Well done.
So right in front of your faces, Ona and Gord, you see this kind of ethereal fist just slam into these wolves. Unfortunately, I did not roll enough to activate disorient or knockdown from my impact, but with those 4 successes, I did a total of 12 damage.
Nice. So these
Before soak, of course.
yeah, these wolves have a soak of 3, so that's going to be 9 damage. So tell me how one of these wolves falls to your attack.
It's kind of a little brutal, but such is the way of things when magic is involved. And this fist slams into it, and you just hear this wolf is standing snarling 1 second, and then the next it lets out a sharp cry, a yelp, and then you kind of hear a crunch, and it's just laying there still now. And so I'll take my strain for that as well.
And then you have that 1 advantage. How would you like to spend that?
I am going to spend that to actually recover 1 strain since I couldn't activate anything else.
Okay, we have a final PC slot in the round.
Gord is gonna think that Ona did that. He's gonna be like, "Well struck, lad."
Very unexpected, but oh well.
Glint is at the very back now. It sounds like Malshesh is up closer, and Gord and Ona are pretty much in the thick of it. So for Glint to move forward with a maneuver, does he still get an attack action?
So you're at medium range from the wolves. So 1 maneuver would bring you to short.
Okay, so I could use my thrown dagger for that then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would be a short range attack. If you'd like, you could spend 2 strain for an additional maneuver, which would bring you into engaged range if you wanted to make like a melee attack. Melee attack.
Yeah, I think there's no way Glint's going to want to sit back and watch everything happen, especially after seeing that ethereal fist came down, which had protected him, that Glint had cast on him in the last battle. So he's feeling invigorated from seeing that spell again, and he wants to run and get in there. So yeah, if I could suffer 2 strain to move into hand-to-hand, and I'll just use my sword, and I'll keep my dagger handy as well.
Awesome.
And what difficulty would this be?
It is 2 difficulty for a melee attack.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oof. Well, that sounds about right.
Nice. All right. So 3 successes and 3 threat.
Okay, so
8 damage. Their soak is 3. So 5 additional damage. Very close, but doesn't quite take out another of these wolves yet. You take a good slash at one of these wolves. It has to dart back, and you kind of catch it across the shoulder, leaving a trail of crimson through its fur.
So it's definitely afraid of what I just did to it?
I think so, yeah. So you've got those 3 threats there, though. And, now its animal instincts are kicking in. So I'm going to use those 3 threats to upgrade its next attack. So at the end of this turn, you had heard that howl from the woods, and now from the shadows, you see stalking forward a even larger wolf. larger than these dire wolves, which are themselves big for wolves.
We all see this?
Yeah, it's not trying to hide or make a secret of itself.
All right, guys, I think we need to make a big show here. Who's got flames?
The main course has showed up.
So just out of curiosity, let's see. I know Malshesh has spent quite a bit of time in the countryside. Are the rest of you more or less city folk?
Gord's
More
most of
urban.
the time in the city, yeah. He's new to this whole rural thing.
I was raised around boats and islands, so never been to that many cities. May have come across a city or two, but
So Malshesh, I think, is the only one that really recognizes this beast that sort of stalks out of the darkness, which is a wolf lord. Wolf lords are sort of dire wolves that have been empowered by the magics of Manara. So they tend to lead a pack of their lesser kin. They're a little more intelligent than others of their lesser brethren. So they'll occasionally ally themselves with other powerful dark beings, although sometimes elves have been known to befriend them. But this one does not look friendly.
Look alive, boys.
Who
This thing's no plaything.
who is this new giant wolf closest to?
So it's going to be short range to everyone as it enters the combat.
Okay.
So I just rolled initiative for it. It got 1 success and 3 advantages, putting it in the 3rd slot there. As it enters, it emits a howl. As a maneuver, the wolf lord can issue a rattling howl. All dire wolves in the encounter add 1 success and 2 advantage to their checks until the end of the wolf lord's next turn. But we have a PC slot first.
Gord has an idea if no one else has anything they'd like to do. I mean, feel free.
Go for it.
Yeah, take it away, Gord.
All right. He's noticing this big wolf. You said it's at short range, right?
Yes.
He is going to, as a maneuver, issue a challenge. Essentially, he's going to taunt the wolf lord, like, come and get it, and to like sort of drive home the taunt, he's going to try and smack one of the little wolves, in a like, oh, was that one of yours kind of way.
Oh,
Is he
absolutely.
within reach of the one that I wounded?
Oh.
So you deliver a swift kick to the side of one of these other wolves?
Well, so my turn, so I would use a maneuver for challenge, and then I would like to for my action, I would like to attack the dire wolves that
Gotcha.
are engaged.
Well,
All right, awesome.
is he able to attack the wounded one that I had that's
Yeah, so
survived my attack?
when you're dealing with a minion group, they kind of share a communal pool of wounds.
Oh,
And so as you overcome the threshold of each minion, one will be eliminated from the group. And then also their pool is upgraded based on the number of minions in the group. So the more you defeat, the less effective they are.
thank you.
So for the challenge, basically the wolf lord gets a boost against me, but 2 setbacks against anybody else until I am incapacitated or the end of the encounter. And I would like to drive that home. I'm gonna spend 2 strain to take another maneuver to aim, and I am going to attack. I'm gonna raise this kind of oversized mace. You don't mind if I flip a story point to upgrade this?
No, go for
Yeah,
it.
no one's spent a story point yet.
Go for it.
All right, so blue die for aiming and an upgrade. What?
Oh man.
8
Oh.
advantage.
That's rough.
Every one of those positive dice rolled
What?
advantage.
Holy crap.
Well, whatever you did, it looked awesome.
That was insulting, Gord.
Oh.
And I think the dire wolf lord, I think you felt it.
Jeez, what do I do with 8 advantage? I've never had that many before.
You get a boost, and you get a boost.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're definitely impressing upon the wolf lord that you are the threat in this group. And I think even narratively, even though you didn't do any damage, I think, giving a kick to one of the wolves or, batting it with your sword is definitely on the table.
It was badass.
But then those 8 advantage, yeah.
All right. I feel like I'm gonna. I mean, Gord's definitely gonna feel like more badass than he actually is. I'm gonna say he recovers 2 strain, and then I don't know. I guess maybe like as he swings, just for a brief moment, like it almost looks like flame erupts from his mace, and it sort of maybe is sort of blinding to the wolves that are that I'm engaged with. So I'll probably give them a setback. I don't know. Can I just like give boosts to every like? It's just Gord is just like this beacon of
I'm
Yeah.
inspired.
I think that sounds great.
just-
Like
I don't-
everybody sees you do this thing.
it's just
Yeah,
so
I mean,
many
you
advantage.
kicked the wolf.
Everybody feels inspired.
Yeah, so to pass a boost on to the next player to go is just 1 advantage. And then if you wanted to target an individual player, you can do so with 2. So with 5 advantage, everyone could get a boost, all the 3 other characters.
Yeah, let's go with that.
And then how many does that leave you with?
I guess I would have one left.
Okay.
Is that enough to give a setback to the dire wolves, or would I need 2 for that?
Yeah, usually it takes 2 for that.
So if I just recover 1 strain instead, and so a boost for the allies and then a setback for the dire wolf,
Absolutely.
as I sort of try like swing my mace at it, like I kick it, I sort of keep it at bay. It just sort of cause some sort of chaos in this just fiery chaos in the midst of this battle.
All right. So now we're on to the NPC turn. I think this wolf lord, it's come into the battle. It's issued its howl, and it's gotten an answer, and it got it from Gord. So I think it's going to charge forward and attack Gord.
He gets a boost against me because of challenge.
I never quite understood how challenge die works.
So challenge is a talent. When you use it, it gives it. So you pick an NPC or you pick an adversary, and if they attack you, they get a boost. But if they attack any of your allied characters, they get is it 2 setback?
Yeah, and basically just drawing aggro
Yeah, at which you have successfully done.
loudly and proudly.
Oh, just barely 1 success. So that's going to be damage 9 minus your soak.
Ouch. Let's see. My soak, I believe, is 4. So 9 damage. That's 5 wounds.
So this wolf lord, it's silhouette too, so you can imagine it the size of like a horse. It had stalked into the edge of the battle and now is charged forward and locked its jaws onto Gord, giving a little shake as its teeth.
Is that all you got, hound?
The beast, standing as tall as you, looks you in the eyes and opens its jaws.
It may be a little taller. I am a dwarf, so.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it may be looking. So the beast, taller than you, looks down. Its jaws like a few strips of leather and maybe an odd fastening from your armor in its teeth. So now we have the dire wolves, and I think they're gonna continue their attack. Last round they were attacking Ona. Is that right? Well, they're gonna attack Ona this round anyway.
Oh, wait, did they deal any damage on the last round?
No, they didn't. Yeah, they missed. But this time they're boosted by their wolf lord.
Oh no.
4 successes and 2 advantage.
Oh lordy.
So that's 9 damage minus your soak.
I have a 5 soak, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, 5 soak. That's 4 damage I take.
And then we'll use those 2 advantage to trigger their knockdown. So as they bite and snap at you and their teeth like pierce through into your thigh, this wolf like tug of wars on your leg and pulls itself backwards and pulls you to the ground.
Fuck.
And now it's a PC slot.
I just got a quick question.
Sure.
My upgraded connected heroic ability there to use to hypnotize, is this something I could possibly use on the wolf lord to sort of stun him for my turn? So he's just sort of out of it. He's like focused on me, doesn't know why he's focused on me, but gives an advantage to everybody else.
It's an interesting thought. Okay, so connected would be sort of the original sort of rules as written of connected is that it works as the NPC owing you a favor, and we sort of flavored it to be that you're using a hypnotic
Suggestion.
Yeah.
When I initially thought of it, I was thinking of it more as NPCs, but not animals. But the idea being that he seems to like stare deep into them so that they focus on him, like they're just mesmerized by him, so that his suggestion just digs into them. I was wondering if I could use that on the Wolf Lord to sort of confuse the Wolf Lord for a second to draw him out of the battle, not stopping, like he's not going to release Gord, but just sort of like be stunned for a second.
Right.
Would that be something that would be good? Or because I mean, then everybody else could follow up with attacks, and maybe the dire wolves will be like, "What's going on?" when they see their Wolf Lord sort of.
So I think yeah, I do. I think that would work. You're going to be spending 2 story points for this, and you're activating your heroic ability. So yeah, but so we'll say that too, though. So like normally a heroic ability would last till the end of your next round. So you would essentially get a couple favors out of an NPC from the original wording of the ability.
Oh, so a round isn't just until my next activation; it's for this fight.
Well, no, it is for the next activation. So the way I believe
Okay.
The heroic abilities are worded, it lasts until the end of your next turn.
Okay.
So if you act it now, you'll get a quote unquote favor this round, and then next round you'd get another. So if the favor this round is, hey, don't attack us, basically.
Yeah, I just want it to be like calm, like I'm staring into its eyes and it's just sort of lost into mine. Like it doesn't know where it is. It's not focused on the fight. It's disassociated, even though, and just sort of staring at me.
But I think it would be fair to say that if anyone were to attack it, it would then kind of lose that. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure.
So if no one were to mess with this Wolf Lord until the end of your next turn, it won't do anything but stare at you fascinated. But should someone attack it, that'll sort of break its reverie.
Well, that's kind of the point. Like I would like it to like release Gord, but if it gets attacked before my next turn, then
No, I think because its turn, unless you took the first turn in the next round, it would not act until after you did anyway.
So I can go last next round.
Exactly.
So is everybody okay if I do that?
Sure.
You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the story points, do I hit the plus or the minus?
You can just actually click the actual point itself, and it'll turn to a.
Okay, there we go. So Glint sees the dire wolf lord there with Gord in its face, and he runs right up to him and sort of slams himself up against Gord and stares the wolf lord in the face and just deep into its eyes. And I say, "Calm," and the voice sort of echoes in its mind, and it just sort of loses itself in me.
So we're getting sort of the old Disney cartoon Robin Hood with the snake would stare into
the snake. Yeah. That's exactly.
Nice.
Except my eyes don't go all spirally. Now, does this affect the dire wolves at all when they see their wolf lord acting that way?
Because it's such a powerful effect to essentially remove the wolf lord from the next round of combat, I think they are sort of taken aback. But, they've got that blood rage. They've got their foes' blood in their teeth. And
I did just kick one of them, too. So
that's true.
You did.
But the Wolf Lord is definitely like looking you dead in the eye. It's sort of like lost in the deepness of your pupils.
Focus on me.
And just so you know, heroic ability is only an incidental, so you can still perform an action.
I can still perform an action. Okay. I'm not even sure what to perform. I mean, if that's an incidental, can I actually command the wolf lord to release Gord?
So narratively, and of course it had bit Gord, but it hadn't.
Oh, I thought he was in his jaws.
No, yeah. Well, no, it had sort of, now it's sort of like giving him the stare down.
Well, not anymore.
Not
just
anymore.
Like, drop.
I believe you should hook your thumbs in the back of the mouth if that's not incorrect.
Yeah, there you go.
So then, okay, so now
I can't think of anything. So if anybody has a suggestion that they'd like to offer, I'd be open to one.
You could potentially attack first and then use the heroic ability.
Okay, would I be able to attack the dire wolf, not the wolf lord?
Yeah, I think that would make narrative sense too.
Right? I'm focused on him, so I don't want attacking somebody else would work. So if I can attack the dire wolf first, I would appreciate that.
Sure. Okay, 2 failures, 3 advantage, and a triumph. So unfortunately, you didn't strike true with your weapon, but you do have 3 advantage and a triumph to spend.
Okay, so spending triumph, I can upgrade the difficulty of the target character's next check.
Absolutely.
So can I use it for that?
Sure thing.
On the wolf lord?
Well, you were targeting the dire wolf, right?
Oh, on the dire wolf, right? Yeah. So on that, thanks.
No problem. and then 3 advantage. So you could pass a boost on to the next character for just 1. You have a little strain if you'd like to recover that. Or, there's also narrative changes you can make. So you could have sort of like the situation turn to your advantage too.
Okay, so you said there was a very fancy cart
Yes.
that was off to the side. Is it on its side? Is it leaning? Like, is there an opportunity to sort of kick it out and have it fall over?
Well, no, it's a pretty nice looking cart. Perhaps you could say that, yeah. So you want to kick something to have it move. Maybe the hillside. It's being sort of held in place by the lead that goes up to the horses. So you could, like, with a quick move, like disengage that lead and have the cart roll forward.
Yeah, I just want some other momentum to sort of draw attention away from the party.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, so I kick the lead, the cart starts to roll, and I rush over to the Wolf Lord, and I use my heroic ability on it.
All right, so why don't we use that? We'll add a black die to the dire wolves.
I'm just thinking the favor is go get it, boy. Go get
it. Nice.
So a PC slot is next.
Ona's kind of pissed off because these wolves knocked him down. I know Gord gave me a boost die. What is this other boost die that I got?
That's just the one I gave you.
Okay, so he swim maneuver to get up and just slash the dire wolves.
Nice. So what's the damage with your sword?
Base damage 8.
Ooh, ouch.
And I used the 2 advantage to give the next person a boost die. Like they felt inspired by the attack.
So describe how you've taken out another of these dire wolves.
I did a horizontal slash. Like I got up and all that rage that I accumulated from getting knocked down, I did like a spin attack on the wolves, just slashed them away.
Nice.
Well struck again, lad. Well struck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that heavy blade just cuts right through the wolf's body and drops it to the ground.
Yeah, then I point the sword at the wolf lord. I'm coming for you next.
Yeah, its eyes are all swirly. It's like staring at Glint over here.
Shiny.
And then, so Malshash will be the last to go in this round.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of really quickly tap into the Yenlong real quick. I'm asking for my ancestors to empower me, and so I'm going to activate heroic recovery, and I'll heal 4 strain to spend a story point for that.
I don't like all those red story points.
Okay, so I've healed 4 strain as the power of my ancestors kind of flows through me. And then I'm still at medium range, correct?
You haven't closed. Yeah, that's right. You haven't closed any closer. Yeah.
So I will I'll start charging forward, and I've lifted my staff up above my head, and as I get closer within range, I slam my staff down and flash a moment. I almost like it's like I disappear for just a moment, and I appear right in front of the direwolves. I'm doing that with parkour, and that costs a strain to engage with them from within short range, and I'm going to attack them with my staff.
Is it kind of a Banff situation?
Yeah, pretty much like you just see, just like kind of like a flash. You can kind of see me move, but just almost like quicker than. It's almost like I disappear, but you can still see like a blur. And then as I just kind of almost bamf right back in front of them with my staff swinging into its jaw.
Oh, so 0 successes and 5 advantage.
Okay, so I guess what I'm going to do, I miss the wolf, but as I appear in front of it swinging, it's like you said, it's very cunning. It's very quick, and it just dodges out of the way. But as it does, it kind of stumbles a bit, and so I end up with a +1 defense, melee defense, until the end of my next turn. Just as the wolves are, or like the spirits still kind of are swirling around me from that last bamf, and I'll spend the 3 advantage for that, and then I'll spend both I guess 1 advantage for recovering strain and 1 to pass a boost to the next player.
Okay, so we're back around to the top of the round. Who would like to act first?
Not Glint.
Or show us something cool.
I mean, Gord was just planning on a little hand-to-hand little melee attack, trying to finish off this last dire wolf. This little pup isn't deserving of any fancy magic, I don't think.
Yeah, this is one that you kicked.
Yeah. I guess Gord's going to mutter a little prayer under his breath. Careless, guide my mace. Used to aim against this dire wolf.
And then you'll get a blue die pass from Malshash.
Oh, that's right. So 1 blue for the aim maneuver and 1 blue from Malshash. So he raises this fancy, this kind of fancy dwarven mace, and you can tell just like as the way the light hits it, just for a second, it almost looks like it has this red glow to it. And he sort of raises it up kind of dramatically before swinging it down at this last remaining wolf. And success. That's so much advantage. What the? So that's 8 damage total. Is that enough to?
It is, yeah. Describe how you take out this last dire wolf.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. He just sort of gives a triumphant yell. It's almost like he poses for a second with his mace up in the air, all dramatically. You can tell he's kind of doing it for show, and then just you hear the sort of squeal, the howl of the wolf that he just crushes right in the torso and smashes it down. It's kind of messy.
Oof.
Loud. It's satisfying crunch. Kind of gruesome though.
All right. Indeed, we see that gruesome crunch take out the last wolf. So then the Wolf Lord would go next, but of course he is entranced still by Glint's.
I have these 6 advantage still, so I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I was planning on using him for a crit, but I don't need to. I guess I will. I guess maybe Gord probably feels renewed, finally triumphant. Like finally his mace did what it's supposed to do, and it feels really good. Like that's how it's supposed to go, right? So he's gonna recover some strain, just feeling the thrill, feeling this rush from having succeeded. And I guess I don't know what to do with the other 2 other than pass a boost, unless anyone has suggestions.
Take a boost die. I don't know what to
Yeah, whoever's going to attack the Wolf Lord should get a boost.
plan on approaching the Wolf Lord and attack.
Is there a limit to like how much strain I could recover feasibly?
No.
So he could recover like all of his strain almost.
Yeah.
That's so much advantage. I'm not used to that.
There are some pretty good things you can do with 2 advantage. Like you can get an immediate free maneuver as long as you haven't moved twice. You can ignore environmental effects. It's not really affecting us right now, but there are some other options in there.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I'm already engaged with this Wolf Lord, so I'm not trying to. I think I'm good on the maneuvers. I'll probably just.
Well, he's also engaged with me. Can he be engaged with 2 characters at the same time?
Yes. Yeah.
I'll pass a boost to whoever's going next. Say that's how you do it.
Give it to Ona.
On that note, I guess I'll go next. How far is Ona from the Wolf Lord?
Just at short range, so just a maneuver to engage.
Okay. I'll use 1 maneuver to get next to it. I'll be engaged, and then I'll use 2 strain to get the aim boost.
Okay.
You get the boost from Gord. Just do it just like I showed you.
And I also have I got the duelist talent, so I get 1 boost die against an opponent.
When you're engaged with a single opponent?
Yeah, add a boost die to all melee checks when engaged with 1 opponent.
Very cool.
And how hard? Average check?
It would be 2 purple, but then 1 purple is upgraded because he has adversary 1.
So it also has melee defense 1. It looks like, so a black die.
Yes.
Okay, here I go.
Nice.
Yeah.
3 successes and 2 advantage.
That'll be 11 damage. Advantage. Can I give the Wolf Lord a setback die on his next check?
Yeah, 2 advantage. Yes, that's the exact amount you need.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, and so this strike definitely breaks the hypnotic what's the word?
The hold.
The hypnotic hold that Glint has over the Wolf Lord.
Sorry, but we gotta kill it.
What's the point?
As it shakes itself loose of this suggestion, it looks around and sees its brethren cut down around it, and it slowly raises its head to look at the party. And we have a PC slot next.
I'll take that. Malshash, having no more dire wolves to attack, turns to the last foe. Even though it's engaged, he kind of lines up his shot a little bit, and he's going to send a blast of energy out of his staff at the wolf. I'm also going to use the painful talent, or the painful blow talent. So I'm going to upgrade, or I'm going to increase the difficulty 1 time to add this painful blow to the attack.
Okay. Nice. 1 success and 2 advantage.
Okay, perfect. So I hit. That does 9 damage before soak. But the painful blow, what that does is anytime the Wolf Lord moves for the rest of the encounter, it suffers 2 strain.
Ooh. Ouch. Okay, so that was a strong attack. Another solid blow, but the Wolf Lord remains standing. Though it does seem hobbled by the attack. And you have 2 advantage.
Yeah, so I'm going to having it that kind of take its attention, a little bit towards me. I'd like to bend that to add a boost to Ona's next attack.
Not me?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, next person in the order, I guess.
Why, thank you.
Okay, Glenn. You're the last to act in the round.
Okay, so you're saying it's hobbled. It looks like it's definitely wounded.
Yeah, it's pretty severely wounded.
Well, Glint has his dagger in one hand, has his sword in the other hand. He's sort of like slapping them together to make noise because, of course, he has to put on a show. And he rushes in with his sword and wants to attack. So that's what I'm going to do.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, so that'll be 6 points of damage minus its soak. All right, so your sword darts out and slices through its thick hide, and a spray of crimson blood darkens the earth around it.
Ah.
But the Wolf Lord still barely clings to life. And I think you have a maneuver if you'd like to use a maneuver for anything.
Now, can I use the maneuver to disengage?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
So you kind of like dance and dart away from it.
Yeah, I hit it. I heard it. There's blood splattered on the ground, and I just sort of dash backwards a bit, freeing up room for anybody else who wants to rush in for the kill.
And now we're around to the top of the round. So any PC that would like can go.
Seems a shame to slay such a noble beast, but I am hungry.
Ooh, does wolf meat even taste good?
We're gonna find out.
You can have my share.
Gord's gonna kind of taunt this wolf lord, he'll sort of point his mace at the slain smaller wolves, just suggesting like, this is what's coming to you. And he will raise his mace. He's going to use his maneuver to aim, sort of getting in position, maybe trying to shove this thing off balance with his shield a little bit. And he will aim and strike with his mace, or attempt to.
Oh no.
Oh man, 0 successes and 4 advantage.
So many advantage.
You got his attention.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess
Epic misses everywhere.
yeah.
We're just showing off.
He's just showing off, actually
Posturing.
not hitting anything.
It's posturing. If we don't put on a show, how are people going to tell of our exploits?
Yeah.
I guess for the advantage, I'd like to sort of shove it off balance and give it a setback. And if I could, just like, I want to be the one, I'm trying to get its attention, like to keep it off of anyone else.
We still have the challenge up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I guess so.
You could negate its defense for a round.
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess having it that might I'll do that to sort of shove it off balance, and like I'm just trying to like distract it, get its attention focused solidly on me so that hopefully someone else can get in there for the kill. So I'll negate its defense.
Then you just have one more.
I guess Gord will just yell, get in there, strike it down, and pass a boost to the next acting character. Of course, this wolf is going next.
And I think you've definitely drawn its attention, Gord.
And
This is a noble beast. It's been empowered by the magic of the land around it. It spent many seasons leading its direwolf pack on many a great hunt, and it stands amongst the bodies of its brethren. And if it's going out, it's going to take somebody with it. So here it comes, Gord.
and he gets the boost from the challenge.
Yeah, but you're tiny.
Ooh, 1 success, 1 advantage.
Was that supposed to hurt?
9 damage minus your soak. And with that 1 advantage, it's going to gather itself and essentially heal a strain. As it gets a solid bite in on your shoulder and tosses its head back and forth. It's remembering hunts gone by and feeling more like itself for the first time in this battle. All right, and it's a PC slot next.
So whoever goes next gets a boost and its defense is negated.
Heavy hitter time.
I volunteers tribute.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
So I'm engaged with the Wolf Lord, right?
Yes.
I'll use the aim maneuver and I slash away.
All right.
Oh, heck yeah.
2 successes, 3 advantage, and a triumph.
Ooh.
Well, I can tell you that the damage alone is enough to finish off the Wolf Lord. What does that look like?
I thrust my blade into the Wolf Lord's chest. Then I just slash open vertically, very God of War like. And like all of the insides just start splitting out. Sorry, I'm sorry if anybody's offended by gore.
Gruesome.
Fatality.
I just wanted to go full Mortal Kombat on this guy.
Finish
him.
Okay, so then you're still left with that triumph and those 2 advantage.
I guess I'll use those 2 advantage to heal 2 strain and.
Everyone can roll to regain strain. So that's either cool or discipline with no difficulty. And then you're left with that triumph.
Yeah, for the triumph.
Why don't we hold on to that as we go into this next scene? The group is collecting themselves after the battle, having just defeated these 3 dire wolves and the Wolf Lord, who had been feasting on these 2 fine carriage horses. And as your eyes turn to the carriage in question...
The one that Glint knocked and got rolling?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I think it rolled forward maybe a meter or 2 before kind of coming to rest against one of these horses laying in the lane. But we do have a triumph from Glint.
From me?
Am I wrong? So. Did I see?
From me.
It was from Gord.
Oh, I see.
Or no, it was Anna.
I got a triumph on my last slash.
Oh, on the killing blow, yeah.
Oh, I see. And it was in the strain recovery rolls that we got 2 more triumphs here.
Oh, geez.
Do those count for anything?
You know, some would say no, that in a strain recovery roll, they really don't. Like I, in the past, have allowed triumphs to recover 2 strain. But I think in this circumstance where you guys are collecting yourselves and calming yourselves after the battle, probably the second big battle that the group has faced as a unit, and your attention is turned toward this carriage, I think these triumphs could be used in your next moment, you know, as you gather yourselves. So what are you all thinking to do?
I'm thinking Glint wants to go up to the carriage. He's assuming that there's people that have just been rescued inside this carriage, so he wants to show off and flourish and open the door. You know, not saying he's opening it right now, but what he wants to do is open the door and sort of like, your saviors have arrived sort of thing.
So, Clint, as you round the edge of this carriage, preparing yourself for one of your trademark flourishes, you see that the carriage door stands open. And in fact, a blanket inside, you know, the kind of thing that you might throw over your legs to keep warm in the high hills, is sort of half hanging from the doorway of the carriage, sort of a finely woven blanket with a nice fur fringe. And then 2, you see a chest spilled just inside the carriage door, and coins are spilled across the blanket.
So the blanket itself, does it look like it's wrapped around something, or does it just sort of laying flat, spilt out the door?
Yeah, it seems as though someone exiting the carriage may have had it on their lap.
Okay. Well, Glint obviously tries to scoop up some of these baubles that are on the ground while he's acting like he's looking around inside.
So with that triumph, I think if you'd like, rather than having to make any kind of check, as you're sort of scooping up these coins, your eye alights on another small case beneath the bench inside the carriage.
Oh, what does the case look like?
It is maybe a hand and a half across, finely crafted, and it is locked.
Okay. So Glint would like to take some of these coins, but the case itself, he's going to sort of pull out and show to the other members of the party, look what's inside, and just sort of holds it up and then holds up the box, and as if like, anybody got an idea?
So as the rest of the group gets a look at this case, it's the sort of thing that a noble might carry more valuable belongings in. And in fact, as you all sort of examine this carriage, it does have the fit and finish of a noble's carriage.
Would there be any sort of symbols or insignias that might depict like who might give it any sort of hint as to who or like where it came from.
Why don't you give me a knowledge geography check? Oh, I'm sorry, and an average check.
So 2 success and 1 threat, it looks like.
Okay. You definitely recognize a noble house, and you can read the name underneath the insignia. It is the Oresea, Oresea, Oresea house. But that threat will be you can't place it. You're not sure how, like if it's a local noble or someone journeying from far away, you're not sure.
I think maybe you knocked your head too many times. Let me help you out with it a little bit, and maybe you'll get a little more insight next time. And so I'll heal him. I see blood coming from his head, and he's trying to like figure this out and can't. So I just I'll spend my triumph to upgrade that check.
So you're doing a heal spell?
Yeah, on Gord.
Awesome.
Is there any idea how many coins I was able to snag without anybody seeing?
Yeah, 50.
50, thank you.
So Gord, you heal 5 wounds and 1 strain.
Oh, what was that? That wasn't necessary at all. I was just fine. He sort of begrudgingly, thank you. He tries to like, sort of mutter that under his breath so no one else hears but you.
Glint would like to know if he sees any like footprints that had left from where the cart originally was before it rolled.
Okay, so that'll end up being a perception check. But why don't we hear from Ona?
Actually, I was wondering if it's possible to use my triumph to somehow heal some wounds of me.
Well, it won't lead directly to healing wounds. But if you'd like to use that triumph, I think I have something you might realize about the situation.
Okay, yeah, why not? I'll do that.
Okay. So as Glint is busying himself in the open door to the carriage, it sort of occurs to you like, well, what happened to the driver of this carriage? So you pull yourself up a bit and glance up at the roof, and you see a body there. It's a guard.
Guys, I see a body up here. It's a guard.
And this guard has been eviscerated. His gut has been torn out, and his metal cap has been pulled loose, and his head has been split open, and his brain is gone. It's pretty gruesome.
Does this look like wolves did this?
Well, so for this triumph, I'll give you 2 options. 1, you can get that answer right now, or 2, you can find something else interesting about this guard.
I say reserve the triumph for figuring out something about the guard. It might give us clues.
So you see that this guard was the one that held the reins to the carriage. They're sort of hooked on the knee plate of their armor. They have a sword, but the sword has not been drawn. And in fact, from the way they're laid across the top of the cart, it almost seems as though they offered no resistance to whatever killed them. They have a large shield. They weren't wearing it, but it was positioned so they could easily grab it if they needed to. And you also see on their belt, there's a small vial you recognize immediately as a healing elixir.
Ooh, I call dibs on it.
What's happening with the birds?
Can I actually use the healing elixir?
Yeah, so that'll healing elixir will recover 5 wounds the first time you use one in a session, and then the second time you use one, it'll be 4, and then 3, etc.
Okay.
And to answer the question about the birds, they still circle overhead. Now they're growing closer. A few have lit on nearby trees now that they see that the dire wolves are not a threat any longer.
Those things will steal our dinner if we're not careful.
So
I guess you better get to cooking then.
Yeah, we should.
I'd like to climb up on top of the carriage with Ona and see if I can study these wounds a little bit more and try to figure out if I know what might have caused something like this.
So you healed Gord, right, of their wounds?
Yes, I healed them for 5. Yeah.
I'm still seeing 5 wounds on my game table.
I had 10
yeah,
wounds.
I'm seeing 5 as well.
Oh, you had 10. Oh,
yeah.
Well, that makes a lot more sense then. Never mind. Okay, so but Gord, you did get healed, but you haven't really had a chance to do anything yet. So is there anything you would like to do?
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
No, I'm yeah, don't be.
Oh no. Well, Gord was before he was healed by Malshash. He was sort of interested in trying to cauterize his own wounds. He's feeling better now after that. I think he's more interested this tower that we saw earlier. He's sort of scanning the immediate area for other people or for any signs of anything else going on around us. Just sort of keeping an eye out while the rest of the people dig through this cart.
Well, why don't we do this? Gord and Glint, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Glint, yours is going to be average, and Gord, yours is hard because you're kind of looking off into the far distance.
I'm short.
So average is 2 dice, right?
Average is 2, that's correct. Yeah, and hard is 3 purple. Nice, okay. So Glint, 1 success and 2 threats, and Gord, 2 success and 2 threats. So Glint, with your perception check, you notice tracks leading from the open door of the carriage or where it was before it rolled forward and off into the woods. There's a number of sets of tracks. One set is moving quickly, almost running, and then the other sets, which are kind of muddied, it's hard to get an exact count, seem to move at a more steady pace, as though they're just kind of walking away from the carriage.
Okay.
I think those threat are going to be as those tracks move into the underbrush, it becomes difficult to follow them. So anyone who wants to get a real good, to really follow them into the woods, it's going to be a little more difficult. That's what those threats will be.
Okay, so I'm assuming I'm looking at this while everyone else. So I'm sorry, snapping my fingers, just trying to draw attention, and I'm pointing to the tracks and pointing into the woods so everybody can see that, hey, something moved off into that direction, but we don't want to scare them off. So I'm just trying to be quiet while getting everyone's attention, but making sure everybody knows this is where the tracks are going.
Awesome. Okay, so but the Gord, you're looking around more broadly, kind of scanning because you're sort of at a rise, even though the trees are thick around you. As you look back down the road, you're kind of able to see back along these hills and toward the lowlands and then up toward this tower above. And just for a moment, you see 2 large winged forms flying toward that tower. Wingspans twice the size of a man or more. And they seem to be carrying something in their talons, something the size and shape of a person.
Well, the mystery of the exploding guard has been discovered.
Evil lurks over yonder.
As you see this, you feel this sort of sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach. They vanish from sight before they've reached the tower. They just seem to go invisible. So those 2 threat will be strained.
Something foul lurks over yonder by the tower.
The tracks leading into the bush, is that the same direction that we see these flying things heading towards? Or is that in a different direction?
So you're kind of, so they are more or less flying due west toward the tower. And the tracks lead off into the woods, maybe in sort of a northwesterly course. So not exactly toward the tower.
But in that general direction.
Exactly.
Okay.
Still some distance away, so.
Well, boys, there's heroism afoot.
Whatever foulness lurks yonder needs to be purged, preferably with fire.
What about our food?
Well, your bellies are maybe still full from breakfast as you broke camp this morning and ate your dried sausage and warmed porridge over the fire.
So as an incidental, can Glint go over to the wolf lord there and just carve out one of its fangs?
I don't know about an incidental, but you certainly can. Usually, like harvesting some body parts would be a survival check.
Oh, wait, okay.
So while you're kind of thinking about that, a survival check, I think it'd be easy to remove a fang, or some number of fangs or claws, or take a.
I'm just looking for one.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know what? I don't think we need a check for that. You can do that as just removing a fang doesn't take much effort.
Thank you. All right.
Gord sort of looks on disapprovingly at that. He just sort of grunts, but he sort of shakes his head when he sees you do that.
So you're basically making that your displeasure known.
Yeah, but he doesn't say anything.
I hold up the fang and I say, "Hey, let's take a bite out of danger."
Do we
Nice.
suffer strain for that?
Well, you're still growing accustomed to Glint's antics.
I'd still like to inspect the wounds and stuff and try to see if I can figure what that winged creature was, maybe, that he talked about.
Yeah. So I think in this circumstance, a medicine check or a survival check. So a medicine check would be easy, and a survival check will be average.
Nice.
2 successes and an advantage. So for those 2 successes, you can tell from the pattern of wounds on this guard's torso, it was definitely not the wolves that did it. They look like talons or claws, like something like a bird's. In fact, you would say it most closely resembles a vulture, the way a vulture would feed on a corpse. But the guard was definitely alive when this started. But also, again, it did not seem to offer resistance.
Yeah, it didn't fight back, eh?
Yeah. And then for that advantage, if you like, I have a little other information I could give you.
Well, I'm wondering if time is of the essence here, guys. Yeah, as I pocket my wolfang.
I feel like I've heard tales of vicious beasts like this in the past, though I've never come across one in my travels. I think it would be pertinent to prevent them from doing something like this again.
Yeah, so if you like for that advantage, I think you notice about the corpse too that there was the cape would have been fastened with some sort of brooch type of a fastener, and that's missing. And also, the guard was wearing a necklace that has been broken. So the chain is still there, but whatever else was in the necklace is gone. And all of this put together would allow someone, if they would like, to make a knowledge adventuring roll to maybe kind of identify what you're facing. I'll also take a knowledge lore if you'd like. The adventuring roll would be average and the lore roll would be hard.
And could any of us make that roll?
Yeah, I mean, assuming that this information is being shared amongst the group.
Yeah, I'm talking it out, and I'll make a roll as well. But anyone else is welcome to as well.
Glint likes to think he has knowledge, but he's pretty average.
Can't recall anything, unfortunately. I rolled 0 successes and 0 advantage. Everything was pretty much a wash.
I never learned of anything like this.
So Gord, 2 failures and 2 advantage. So yeah, you're not able to specifically nail down what this might be, but with those 2 advantage, do you have any ideas for how you might spend them?
Not particularly in this instance. I know Gord is maybe interested in. Is he able to? I know he was already healed once by Malshash. Is he able to attempt to heal himself as well?
The way I kind of run healing is outside of structured encounter. One healing spell, can be cast per caster.
Okay, because he would like to do that at some point before then. So
Now, just out of curiosity, could he have used the advantage to notice? Like, I noticed that you can use it to notice a single important point of information there on that necklace.
Yeah. Well, rather than specifically the necklace, although that does kind of like lead down the path of identifying what sort of creature you might be facing. Gord, sort of, if it's okay with you, Gord, for me to kind of go off.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So you kind of sit back on your haunches. You're like, all right, I'm not able to really figure out what's going on here. You're kind of turning your mind over to the idea of healing your further wounds, and you're kind of crafting the prayer you might use for that. And your eyes again drift toward that tower in the distance. But between you guys and the tower, there is a large oak that stands amongst the pines, and your eyes are drawn to it because it sort of follows that path into the woods, that the footsteps that Glint noticed earlier. And amongst the branches of that oak is a dark shape, like maybe a large nest.
I would definitely want to point that out to anyone nearby.
Are you thinking omelet as well?
You never not think about omelets.
So perhaps some sort of dark omelet.
Let's go check it out and then get moving up to that tower.
I think my Glint's pointing out the fact that one of these tracks was running. 2, maybe more, are walking. That runner, though, that runner's concerning me. Either that runner's getting to that tower to try to save somebody, or in the other ones are sore, or it was fleeing faster because it's terrified.
I think the latter more likely.
Mm-hmm.
So as the group gathers themselves to move off into the woods, did Gord want to make that healing check?
Yeah, he'll do. He'll cast a heal spell. No modifiers or anything on it. So I think that's just a single difficulty.
Okay, 3 wounds, and you can heal one of your previous strain. And then, of course, the 2 strain for the spell happen after the check is resolved. So moving through the woods, the group of adventurers once again catches sight of the tracks as these steady footfalls push down into the loamy soil beneath the pines. Ahead of you in a clearing, you see this old gnarled oak tree. Much of it has become dead and rotted, but still 2 long branches reach out, almost touching the ground. So there is still some life in this tree, and a light breeze kind of plays amongst the small oak leaves, scatters a few acorns onto the clearing floor. Up in the twisted, dead branches, though, there is a nest. And as you grow closer to this clearing, you can see that it's formed from woven vines and sticks and branches. And you even catch a glimpse in the noon light, the pale white of a sun-bleached bone stuck into this nest.
How large is this nest?
2 or 3 people could sit in it comfortably.
How high up in the tree is it?
Short range.
I'd like to bamf up there real quick and take a peek.
Awesome. So you're using parkour to move up into the nest.
I've taken 1 strain for that.
As you appear within the nest, a ring of bones that are set into the wall of the nest around you begin to glow and sort of seem to twist at the edges of your vision as a trap is set.
Oh, snap.
And so this is an immobilizing trap. And if we were in structured combat, it would last 1 round. But you're not quite sure how long it's going to last since we're sort of in narrative play. But you're frozen there in the middle of this nest, unable to move or speak.
Well, what is it? What do you see?
I'm able to use my skullduggery check to try to see if I can disarm this thing.
So now you guys are still at a distance to the oak.
Oh, okay.
Can I use my climbing gear to get up there and try to help him out?
Yeah, absolutely. So an athletics check, an average athletics check to climb the tree.
Yeah, and can I get a boost die with my climbing gear?
Absolutely.
You said average?
Yes. As you approach the tree and begin to climb quickly to get to your friend, 4 successes and an advantage.
Hey.
So you easily pull yourself up to the edge of the nest, and you see this effect. It's almost as though there's like a heat mirage going on within this circle of bones around the nest that seems to be entrapping your friend. You got an advantage, but as you were moving quickly, before really you even could put thought to action, out of the corner of your eye, you notice 2 crows taking off, like you sort of startled them into flight, and something amongst the brush underneath one of the oak limbs as you climb the tree.
Did they drop something? What?
No. Well, the crows were like on some sort of dark shape beneath the oak branches, and then as you moved past them quickly, it sort of startled them from whatever they were doing under there.
What was on the spot where they were hanging out?
Well, if you'd like to use that advantage.
I think I want to save my advantage to try to help my friend.
Sure.
And I took a look at it, like, interesting. I'll get back to you in a bit.
So you find yourself at the edge of this nest. I think with that advantage, so since we're not in a structured encounter, we're in narrative play, with that advantage, you see that this pattern of bones is what's causing the trap. So disrupting that pattern, maybe a couple of swipes with your sword could free your friend.
Okay. Is it 2-handed sword, though? You have climbing gear. I'm pretty sure that's going to help
Yeah,
me
but
out.
you could probably just poke at it, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
What's going on up there? I can't see anything down here.
There's some kind of spell-y kind of thing, something I'm not familiar with at all. Holding our friend down. He can't move or speak. I try to help him out. These bones look suspicious, so maybe if I poke them, Elena chooses to poke one of them out of place, hoping that it would do something.
Yeah. So as you poke at these bones and you disrupt the pattern, it ends the effect of this trap.
Yay!
Hey, best friend, you're alive.
Malshash is free. But in the process, one thing you notice as you are poking at these bones embedded in this nest is that this is a very old nest. In fact, it looks as though it had been abandoned some time before. There are black feathers scattered around it that have dried and sort of curled at the edges. And with your poking and stabbing of your sword, you actually slice through a vital piece of the support for this nest. I'm going to spend 2 story points for this.
Oh boy.
So Malshesh and Ona, give me an average athletics or coordination check to avoid a fall from short range.
Now, is there any way that Glint could try to rush in, try to catch Gord?
Yeah, I mean, so Glint,
would that
you
be
haven't
after?
acted yet this round. So should they fail their check, I think you can upgrade. Because when you do, in fact, fall from short range, you get an opportunity to make a check to ameliorate the damage. So I think if you want to
Oh, okay.
position yourself, you could upgrade that check should they fall.
Well, Glint's original intent was to actually look underneath the nest on the ground to see if anything had fallen. So I would like him to be there already.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So he's
Yeah,
positioned.
sure.
Yeah.
So I still have my climbing gear on me. Can I add a boost die for that?
Absolutely.
Hopefully the rope will help me out here.
So he disrupts this trap. Oh no.
Gosh.
He disrupts this trap, and I'm like, oh, thanks. That was, and then I fall, but I catch myself.
Awesome. Okay, so just this sort of avalanche of sticks and branches and bones and feathers all like fall down through the branches of this old oak, and it just kind of rains down onto the ground below. Malshesh is able to catch himself, but unfortunately Ona isn't. So Ona, you're going to plunge toward the ground below. Now you have those advantage. So a fall from short range, you get an average athletics or coordination check. And if you succeed, so any successes can reduce the damage, and any advantage can reduce the strain. Because a fall from short range deals 10 of both.
Okay.
Now, the wounds can be soaked, but the strain cannot. But you have Glint underneath you trying to cushion your fall.
Yeah, like, I'm here for you, buddy.
So he's going to upgrade your check. And so those 4 advantage you could spend for 2 boost, basically.
Okay. What's the difficulty for this?
Average.
Okay, and the climbing gear did not help me.
Not on this.
Yeah, no. Okay.
Okay. So it'll be 9 damage minus your soak, and then 6 strain.
Oh boy.
Did Glint help at all?
He did. Well, you got two successes with that upgraded die there.
Yeah. Got your back, buddy. Just on the ground.
Ow. Oh, that hurt.
As this avalanche of material falls through the tree, and Glint manages to somewhat cushion Ona's fall, there's some other things that fall too. Like in the light, you can see the light catches the reflection off a gem that falls to the ground nearby before being sort of buried in some of the debris. And then you see like the hilt of a weapon sticking up out of the tangle of vines and branches.
Who sees?
Well, I think the only one not involved in all this would be Gord, right?
Yeah, Gord is safe from that fall. He's concerned about his friends though, but seeing this something shiny is a little appealing to him. Definitely, I think he would be interested in this weapon. But he'd sort of walking by Ona, he'd just sort of slap him maybe a little bit too hard on the back, like, how you feeling? You all right?
I've been better. I'll be fine. I'm alive.
I think
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I think Gord would want to. He would be interested in the shinies.
So you walk over and grab a hold of this hilt and pull it loose from the tangle of vines, and you find yourself holding an axe. And in the haft of the axe is a small runic stone. And as you hold it aloft, there's a trail of, you can feel a cool breeze as you swing it up from the debris below, and the edge of the axe is covered in a rime of frost.
Gord doesn't like it. And
you also notice a crack kind of running through the haft, so that the axe is damaged a bit.
He's gonna look at it, and I don't know. He gets a bad feeling about it, and he sort of tosses it on the ground.
Also below, as you sort of disturbed the debris, you do see that glint again. And reaching down, you pull up a good-sized emerald.
He's got a better feeling about this. Definitely. Well, I guess he's not trying to be secretive about it. He's going to pick it up and examine it.
Yeah, it's a costly gem. It's definitely worth a good amount of silver.
Oh, drinks are on me. Gord just puts the gem in his notably very empty coin purse.
Can Glint do a perception check to see if there's anything else?
So give me a perception check then, Clint.
For what difficulty?
It will be, actually, I think it'll be easy now that the nest has been knocked loose and fallen to the ground.
Okay, and that's 1 die, right?
Yes. All right, 1 success and 1 advantage. Well, immediately you notice the second guard's body, which is what the crows were pecking on beneath one of the oak branches.
Is it up in the oak branch or is it on the
It's
ground?
laying on the ground. Once again,
Okay.
you see no sign of struggle, as whatever eviscerated this guard seems to have perhaps put the guard into some kind of trance or somehow kept it from attacking, because it lays there with a light spear near its body and a crossbow at its belt, which is unloaded.
Okay, Glint definitely wants to take that crossbow.
There's also another health elixir, once again, in its belt.
Ooh, and I'll take the health elixir too. I'll point out the spear to everybody though. Like, anybody want a spear here?
Gord would have made mention of this axe too. He said, "There's foul magic within this blade."
Not all magic is foul magic, Malshash says as he climbs his way down from the tree.
There's something not right with that. I don't want it. Feel free at your own risk.
What is it that you feel, Malshesh?
I just don't like it.
Sure, I'll pick it up and, I don't know, detect magic or something.
Yeah, I think with your magical ability and just sort of seeing the same sort of rime of frost and the way the cool air blows across you as you move it back and forth. This axe has a little runic, it has an attachment of runic frost. Attachments can be removed from the weapon that they're on and placed on another weapon. That would probably take a mechanics check to do that. And once this rune is attached to a weapon, it adds the ensnare 1 quality and stun 4. So with 2 advantage, you can deal 4 strain to a target on a successful hit. The axe itself is damaged, however.
I see no problem with this, except that it is a powerful artifact. I'm not sure it's my style, but I'm happy to hold on to it if no one else wants to use it. Looks like it might not stand up to too much more battle, but it could come in handy.
Well, that or my friend.
Foul magic. Could be cursed.
And I sling it into my, I don't know, a strap on my back or something. Hold on to it for later then.
You said the crossbow was unloaded.
Right, but there is a quiver of bolts as well.
Okay.
And in Genesys, so reloading a weapon, you don't really track ammo, but on 3 threats, you basically run out.
Okay.
And then the crossbow can also be found, and that crossbow will have the prepare quality. And so there's a little bit of discussion back and forth about prepare, but I heard a pretty convincing argument on the Forge podcast last couple weeks ago, where with crossbows, you have to prepare essentially like you set yourself up, and then you can fire it as an action each round without having to use the maneuver to prepare it again, unless you maneuver to move. So if you take a new position,
okay.
You'll have to kind of reset yourself.
Now, should I add that to the character sheet now?
Absolutely.
Or...
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Gord mutters something under his breath about, it's a coward's weapon.
Ranged? Are you kidding? So Glint, you also got an advantage there, and I have some bit of information I can give you.
Ooh, please.
All right, so as you're sort of examining this crossbow and practicing drawing it back and looking at the bolts and how they fit into the mechanism, out of the corner of your eye, you catch a bit of movement among the roots of this oak tree. And you see that there's like sort of a space beneath the oak, and something is in there.
Ooh, okay. Does anybody else notice this, or is it just me because of my advantage?
Just you at the moment.
Okay, I definitely want to take a look inside. So I want to do it cautiously.
So give me a perception check. It's easy, but with 2 black dice because of the darkness below this tree.
Okay, so easy and 2 black die.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Okay, so
you can't get a good look at what's in there.
But am I able to use that advantage to pull it out easy?
I'll say that it's definitely, with that advantage, you get an idea of what it is, and it's a being, an animal or a person, silhouette 1, so like the size of a person, and it's hiding in there amongst the roots.
Can I attempt to try to like charm it out, like come across like a friendly owner sort of thing?
Okay, so Glint's like peering into the shadows beneath the tree, realizes there's some kind of like living being in there. It might draw the attention of the other characters, though.
Yeah, I don't think Glint really cares too much about hiding this. Instead, he doesn't want it, whatever it is, to try to like run away or go deeper in. So I think he's more like, it's okay, come here, come on, it's okay.
All right, so how does everyone else feel about this situation?
Malshash just kind of hunkers down and gets prepared to act if he's not quite sure what's going on, but he's not going to stop Glint from doing what he's doing. But he's going to try to be ready for whatever happens.
What's the worst that can happen?
And he holds out a hand ready to cast a spell if need be.
I guess Gord would probably be interested in going over to see what Glint is so interested in.
Yeah, Glint's not trying to hide it at all.
So, Gord, if you want to take a look in there too, you can. So an easy. Or what are you thinking?
Can Gord? Can I use a utility spell to like conjure some light?
Absolutely, yeah. So that would just be an easy check to conjure a bit of light. Oh no!
Oh, come on.
Yeah, jeez. Okay, so 0 successes before advantage. So I think you aren't able to conjure an enduring light, but if you'd like to use some of that advantage, I think you can briefly illuminate that space beneath the roots.
All right.
So I think that'd be 2 advantage. And so it'll leave you with 2, but first let me say that little flash of light, you see there's a Hyrinx, that's a cat person. By their dress, a woman, and she has a dagger drawn. She's pressed as far back into the hollow there as she can get, the dagger held protectively in front of her. And you can see that she's shielding something behind her. And then you have 2 advantage to spend.
I guess Gord, he kind of want to be like, it's okay, we mean you no harm. I guess if Glint is trying to like charm these people.
Yeah, he's trying to perform. He's trying to make them feel calm and comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess it would just sort of try and sort of assist Glint and maybe give him a boost on charm check if that's his intent to make one.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So when you cast this spell to produce light, you're sort of calling on your faith, right? It's the followers of Kelos are not uncommon. People see them often, and they're known to be healers and to be protectors of the innocent. So I think that totally makes sense to add a blue die onto Glint's charm check if Glint would like to make one. So it'll be an average charm check, but I'm going to spend one of these GM story points to upgrade it once.
Now, would it be possible to, instead of doing the charm check, to do a deception check? Because I never actually said I was actually going to be nice to these people.
Well, that's true. Yeah. What kind of lie are you planning on telling?
Well, no, I'm just trying to convince them that they're absolutely safe, but I have no idea what they are. They may come out and we may just put an end to them if we think that they're hostile.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense. Deception would work here. So it'll be the same difficulty, average with 1 upgrade. So 1 red, 1 purple.
1 red, 1 purple. Okay.
And then a blue from Gord.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry, I'll roll the blue separate if that's all right.
Oh,
hey.
Oh, that blue die really came through.
Okay. That's how that works.
Yeah, so 1 success.
Thanks,
and 1
Gord.
advantage. So give me the words that you're saying here.
You're safe. You're safe. Come here. We won't help. We won't hurt you. We want to help you. Come here. It's okay. That sort of thing. But I'm talking in more calm tones, I guess.
Are those black-winged monsters out there?
They are all gone. We have taken care of them. Because, deception.
But their song, it can... the way that the guards just walked forward to their death. You're sure they're not around?
There's none to be seen here now.
Look, my friends are standing out here with me, and we are fine. You'll be safe, too. Come outside, please. Let us help you.
So you see a cautious snout poke out of the darkness and a furred Hyrinx face as she glances around the clearing. I don't know. They killed the guards and they took away the ladies. I have to keep the little ones safe.
The little ones will be safe with us. They're safe with you, and you've done well protecting them. Allow us to protect you so you can help them.
Okay. So she slowly pulls herself from among the roots, eyes darting around the clearing and up into the sky. And behind her, sort of amongst the folds of her dress, you see a young boy, like maybe 4 or 5. And she's got an arm protectively clasped to his tunic.
This boy, is it the same race as her?
It's a human boy.
Oh. Anybody want to step in here?
Is the boy dressed like nobility?
He is.
Seeing as I am not interacting with people typically isn't my norm, so I'm gonna play into the fact that I have no social skills and knowledge. I'm gonna pull the axe from my back as they're crawling out of here, but hopefully ask them, "Is this yours?" before they freak out.
Are you are you doing it with like you're bunting at baseball sort of thing? You're holding it like out to them, or
Yeah, like I mean, just oblivious to how stupid this is to do in front of someone who is obviously terrified. And I just kind of like, you're saying, "Hey, come here," but I walk up and I pull this axe out from behind my thing, and then hold it out and say, "This yours?"
well, that's what I want to know. Like, are we robbing them? No, okay.
No, I'm not. My intent is not to rob them. I'm just not. I'm just socially awkward.
If Gord can, he's gonna try and be like, no, like kind of put his arm out to like maybe try to hold you back from doing that, from advancing on them with a weapon.
So I think the hiring woman, when she sees you draw forth that axe, she crouches back a bit, almost like taking a step back into the burrow, and her dagger comes up again protectively. But I think she realizes quickly that you aren't meaning to threaten her.
It's okay. You're safe. Tell us what happened. Tell us exactly what happened.
I don't recognize that axe. I don't know who that belongs to. We were traveling. The ladies, Stelina and Kirit. I'm their nursemaid. I take care of little Dress here. And some strange song caused the guards to pull the carriage to a stop. And then we were beset by these awful creatures on black wings. They called the ladies into the woods, and then they attacked the guard, and I ran, but I took shelter here amongst the roots here with little Breeze. Oh,
That was very smart of you. Very wise. You did well.
Yes, you've done well.
well, I couldn't do anything to help. Couldn't do anything to help the ladies. They were carried away toward I don't know where, toward the west.
They took these ladies alive.
Yes, they were screaming.
This is quite the predicament. We can't rightly bring these folks with us to the heart of danger. And he points the axe up at the tower.
The carriage is still in good shape, though it is quite a bloody scene. You may find shelter there for a little while. We can send help later.
Do you think it's better for us to stay here amongst the roots?
They have been safe here so far.
The road is well traveled. There might be someone that comes upon us quickly there, but I don't know if the little one should see any bloodshed.
That's probably smart.
Glint's going to reach into his pocket and pull out about 10 gold pieces and say, "Keep this on you to pay any traveler who may come by to give you safe passage."
Thank you. Thank you. Well, there's a lot of silver in the carriage. I don't know if money is an issue.
Sorry, silver. Yeah.
No, it's all right. I was just trying to reference all the money we took out of the carriage.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm giving them some of their money back, making me look good. Nevertheless, let it not be known that Glint did not help you.
All right. Okay. We'll make our way back to the road. Please, if you can help the ladies or see, you'll be well rewarded. They're the noble woman of Highcrest. Please save them. The little one needs his mothers.
Purging this world of evil is its own reward.
Would you be able to grant us passage to Highcrest if we help you out?
Of course, you will be honored there if you're able to save the ladies.
All right, it's time to get to work.
All right, so I lean down to Dress and I say, "Don't worry, little one. Your mothers will be safe. Or my name is not Glint Goldheart." And then I stand up with a flourish and point toward the directions towards the tower.
Malshash rolls his eyes a little, but he looks down at the dagger the woman is holding, and then thrusts the axe towards her again and says, "You know how to use this? Might be better than that little thing."
Thank you. I think I can figure that out. And then as the axe slips into her hand, you see that she handles it with some knowledge. So she's definitely used weapons like this before.
Okay, so do they go back underneath the tree trunk?
Well, with all of your words of encouragement, they're going to head back up to the road and hopefully wait for another traveler.
Excellent. So guys, I mean, I don't know about you, but it sounds like, just as somebody who has the ability to hypnotize people, it sounds like these creatures hypnotize by sound. I'm thinking if we're going to go in there, we need to block our ears somehow.
How astute of you. I pick up a couple of, I don't know, I'd like to look around to see if there's anything I could use to do something like that.
Yeah, like anything that was used in the nest, maybe like cotton or something.
Yeah, a few tufts of grass, stuff in your ears.
Hmm.
Yeah, a little spit and some dirt.
I think I just want to prepare it. I don't think I want to have it in my ears as of yet, but I think we should be prepared to plug our ears.
I like it. Yeah, I think that'll definitely give you some assistance should that come up later. So the only thing to the west is that tower. If someone would like to give me a knowledge geography check, it'll be average.
You don't want to
Hmm.
trust Glint on that.
Yeah, that's not really Gord's
Mm.
thing either.
I'll try it. I'll spend a story point. I've been traveling around this area for a while, and though geography isn't typically my forte, I feel pretty comfortable in this area, so I'll spend a story point to upgrade my check here.
So 1 success and 2 threat. So this tower, as you look up at it, you recognize its shape. So long ago, in the time of the ancient kings, magic was more commonly wielded through the stars of Timurin before they were broken apart by the dragons into the runebound shards. And so the old kings would use the power of these stars for works, for great works. And this particular tower is called a Queen's Tower because Eleanor II would use her amethyst star of Timurin to raise these stone towers around the lands of Terranoth as to protect trade routes and important places. And you recognize this is one of those towers. This one in particular was the last readout of one of the armies during the Third Darkness, the Dragon Wars. And here it was that a dragon's forces, the Dragon Lord Leverax, fell upon the defenders and destroyed this tower. And so now you see the ruins of this tower covered with vines and branches of trees poking out through cracks in the tower side. Those 2 threat. I think even from here, you can hear a haunting call, like a weird song echoing down across the hillside. And Malshesh, it fills your heart with dread as you realize what it is that you'll be facing. Harpies. So take 2 strain.
I hang my head a bit, and as we kind of start heading towards the tower, I tell the rest of the party a bit about this legend I recalled, which I'd like to kind of narrate it that I don't really know how I know this. It's kind of one of those weird spirit things that I kind of get sometimes. I just somehow I know about this place even though I've never been there before, but that it terrifies me, and so I kind of let people know that we really need to be serious about this.
That's awesome. So as you guys approach through the trees, here at the edge of the Eventide Forest, you come to the base of a sheer hillside. And there was a road that led to this tower once, but in that battle long ago, the whole hillside has been torn asunder. And that road and the bridge that led up to the tower has been destroyed. That was centuries ago, and time has lessened the dramatic nature of what happened here. But still, riddled in the hillside, you can see exposed tunnels and rooms below the tower. In one of these tunnels, you see water pouring out and down the hillside. So it's going to take some effort to get up this hill to the tower above.
Glint has Swift, where he ignores difficult terrain. Does that apply to this?
Yeah, so in this situation, I think what it would do maybe is give you a boost die to your athletics check to climb, if
Okay.
that's what you guys decide to do.
Is
Well,
there any way around or like an easier path up? And if not, I'll just get to climbing.
yeah, that's what Glint wants to look around and see if he can't see an easier path, just something out of the way that maybe people have overlooked.
Sure. So I think an average perception check might point out a better way to climb up this hillside if you wish. Or if someone wanted to make an average knowledge adventuring check, you could maybe get some clue as to these ruins.
Can we all do it, or do we have to pick one of us?
So I think each player can choose one of those 2 checks.
Okay, well, I see nothing. I'm telling you guys, we might as well just climb up. Oh, this is not going to make Glint happy.
Yeah, Malshesh, so I think 2 successes and an advantage. So making an athletics check to climb this hillside, you'll upgrade anyone's check because you've spotted out a better route to climb.
Well, there's no way around, but I think if we use these places where the roots stick out and those rocks over there, we can maybe have an easier time getting up.
We are blessed to have you in our party, Melshesh.
I know.
For the athletics check, if you want, you can do it one at a time. Although if anyone has a rope, that would also assist.
Oh, I definitely have a rope.
I think the rope comes in the traveling pack, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. If you took that,
Then
as
I
your
have a
starting
rope
kit.
as well.
Well,
I
not a
did.
rope. I have a climbing gear. If that may be more than just a rope.
Yeah, climbing gear gives you a blue die, and then a rope could be secured by somebody up above to give a blue die to anyone following.
Yeah, I'm not good at climbing, guys, so someone's got to take my rope up for me.
I can help you out.
Awesome.
Why don't you head up with that fancy gear and then we'll pass this rope down to us.
Okay, we'll do athletics check with a blue die.
Yeah, so we'll do an average athletics check, and I'll
Mhm.
spend 1 story point to make it 1 red, 1 purple.
Haha.
Great. I didn't have the best luck before. Hopefully,
You
this
can
time
do
it'll be
it.
Different. Here we go.
Believe, man.
Oh,
Nice.
I keep having to refresh the page.
With
Oh
despair.
no!
Yeah.
Despair.
One
Oh.
success, 2 advantages, and a despair.
But hey,
Uh-oh.
I still got that success.
You're able to scramble your way up this pocked hillside, past these ancient tunnels. That water flowing out, you realize as you pass by, is an old sewer system. You pass by storerooms that have been ripped open, like buried storeroom cellars when the hillside was torn away. And just as you reach the top, you've got the rope dangling down below you, and you're looping it over a thick root to tie it when a bony hand reaches out from one of the passages below and clasps the rope and pulls it from your grasp.
Did Ona scream like a little girl there?
So there's-
That was a great story.
So there's definitely some kind of animated dead in one of these holes along the hillside, but you don't have to, you can avoid it, but you won't have the advantage of that rope.
Also, no rope anymore.
Yeah, it grabbed the rope and yanked it from your grasp.
Oh jeez. What about those cellars you mentioned?
Yeah, so now they're below Ona, but they're above everyone else.
Mm. Well, I mean, I could drop my climbing gear and someone can use it if they so wish, if that's allowed.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, who's next?
Gord will go next, I suppose.
So some
Okay, Gord.
crampons and pitons fall from the sky and land at your feet.
I want to my climbing gear.
All right. So this was an average athletics check.
That's right. And this time I won't be spending a story point.
All right.
2 success and 3 advantage.
Could I maybe use this advantage to like point out good handholds to the other two?
Yeah, absolutely. So like one
Like
advantage.
to like sort of show them a good path up.
Certainly. Yeah, so 1 advantage would give a blue die to the next person, and then you could use the other 2 to specify the last. And
Yeah,
then,
so just a boost to each of the other 2 then, I suppose.
and if you'd like, I think it's fair to say, because more than one person had a rope, right?
Yeah.
So you can secure a rope here to add another boost die to anyone coming up behind you. Careful, of course, to avoid that opening that had the clawed skeletal hand.
Yeah.
I think I'm the weakest at athletics, so maybe I should go next.
I'll stand here ready to catch you if you fall.
Oh, you're too kind, my friend. Too kind. Would anybody be opposed to me using a story point to boost my athletic?
Go for it.
All right. And it was average difficulty?
Yes, that's right.
Oh man.
I think Glint is stuck about halfway up.
Guys, there's like a bony hand here. Help!
He
Was
climbs to
there
a
a-
certain
I feel like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Zoinks.
Yipes! Zoinks!
Like man.
Yeah, so Glint gets to a certain point up the hillside.
So wasn't there a cellar right below me? So he might be right there on that opening.
Yeah, do you want to use those advantage, Glint, to say that you slip back down this hillside and lose grip of the rope, but end up sort of like half swinging into an open cellar?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay, I think that'd probably be 3 advantage.
Save us a treasure.
And so can I pass the boost on to somebody else?
You're going the wrong way. We're up here.
Guys, I think I might have found another way through the cellar here. So if that was 3 advantages to get in there, that leaves me with 1 advantage.
Yes.
So can I pass that boost on to who's next?
Malshash.
Yeah, to Malshash.
Absolutely. So that would end up being 3 blue die for Malshash with the climbing gear of the rope, assuming that the climbing gear is going down every time.
Yeah, I think that was the plan.
And then Glint is able to point out where he went wrong.
Yeah, the bony hand.
The clasping clawed bony hand.
Yikes.
Well, Malshash makes short work of the climb to the top of this hill.
Doesn't even use the rope.
I don't even. No, I was gonna say I don't even like use my feet. I just do that really stupid, cocky thing that people do, where they just like climb up the rope just using their upper body strength.
Oh.
Show off.
And as I make sure as I pass the cellar where Glint is that I give him a quick wink.
Oh, Glint won't forget that.
And as I get to the top, I holler down, "Hey, pretty boy, grab this rope and we'll pull you the rest of the way up."
Glint begrudgingly grabs it, but somehow tries to make it in his favor, but it doesn't work.
So, Glenn, I will say that in that room that you're standing in, there are some piles of long, rotted away materials. But, I mean, it is an old storage room, and there is a open doorway that leads deeper into the hillside.
Yeah, I don't really feel comfortable splitting up the party here, especially when they're the ones that are going to be pulling me up. But I do want to take a look at those. What would you say it was like rags?
Yeah, it's like sort of like some old rotted what once was boxes and barrels and so on hundreds of years ago, but now it's like overgrown, mossy and fungusy piles of stuff.
Okay, well, as the guys are lowering the rope, I definitely want to take a look, just a quick look, see if I can see anything of interest that may stand out.
Sure. So an easy perception check.
Easy perception, okay.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
Well, with
feel
those four
good things coming up.
successes and 3 advantage. So with the successes, just some really brief digging around in this old, the refuse of some bygone era. You open up what once was a chest of coins that spills out across the ground. And there are 200 coins stamped with Queen Eleanor II's face.
Ooh.
Very old coins.
Aha, all right, well, I definitely picked those up. So, like, I guess it's too many coins to actually put in a bag, so I'd actually have to take the chest and sort of like scoop them back
Well,
in.
the chest is long since fallen into rot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just pick up as much as I can. Am I successful in getting all 200 or?
Well, unfortunately, now you're over encumbered and cannot move. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, into your pack, you're able to scoop the coins into your pack. Certainly.
Okay.
You might
All
make
right.
some chink, chink, chink noises as you walk, though.
Don't dally
just
now. There's people need our help.
That's correct. We got adventuring to do. So, okay, so I scoop up those coins. I take one last look at the door, go, too bad. And then I grab onto the rope to get pulled up.
Awesome.
Can I use those advantages for that?
Yeah, you can spend those however you like. Maybe one is to say you're able to gather all those coins, if that makes sense.
Okay.
In a way that won't weigh you down.
Okay.
And then I don't know if this is worth an advantage, but I think you feel a cool breath of cave air flowing from that open doorway, which hints at deeper secrets that lie within the hillside. But unfortunately, you don't have time to investigate those.
No.
And then, yeah, you're kind of left with some advantage there. But I think maybe we'll just say that no further check is required as you tie the rope around your waist and you're hauled up the hillside hand over hand, just short of that grasping, bony clawed appendage that rakes at the hillside as you pass by.
All right. So go ahead.
I was gonna say as I hold my hand out and pull them up over that last final bit of ledge, I say, you keep talking about eating, but I'd say you could lose a couple of pounds. I say, like wiping some sweat from my brow.
Well, Clint is going to basically show off this wealth. I mean, he's not in it just for himself here. And yeah, it is a lot of gold. So guys, you're not going to believe what I found down there. And I dump out 100 gold coins and I'm like, check it out. I found a pet chest. There was like 100 gold coins in here. So let's split this 4 ways, 25 each.
This could go a long way.
Well, nobody thanked me all at once.
Does anyone want to make a vigilance check to see if he's lying, or we're just going to move on here?
Oh, yeah. Test my deception.
Gord takes him at face value.
Yeah, I think Malshash would too. He's like, wow, thank you. That's quite generous.
I guess you guys don't know Glint quite well enough yet.
I
Hey,
take back some of the things I said about you while you were down there.
all is forgiven except for the stuff that you didn't take back.
So where you guys stand now atop this hillside, you're before the large arch that once held massive doors into this tower. Now, however, the doors have long since rotted away, but the archway is blocked by rubble from the collapsed floors of the towers inside. To find a way in, you'll need to make a perception check. It's going to be average.
Well, I'll gladly make the perception check.
Can one of us assist with
I'll
that?
assist.
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
you want to add a blue die?
Okay, and that's 2 purple, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hey.
Okay. So right away, you notice that about 10 meters above, as you like kind of walk around the curved edge of this old ancient tower, there's a crack in the wall in the stone. You could climb up the vines in the exterior of the wall to reach that crack to get inside if you put some effort into it. But with
Well,
this,
Glenn,
go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, well, but with that successful perception check, Clint, you notice a section of the tower wall that is notable for how unweathered it looks. So unlike the surrounding stone, which has like the effects of time, this one little section about the shape of a door looks unusually, has kept its shape in an unusual fashion.
Hey, guys, look right over there. Do you see that? That crack, I think it leads to it looks like a door. Does anybody else see that?
So
Very
is it?
strange.
It's at a level where we can just like walk over to it.
Yeah, this is on the ground floor here.
Oh, I thought you meant it was like up on the wall. Okay.
So yeah, there's
think
two
Gordon-
actually. Basically, you've discovered two entrances. One, you could climb up to a crack in the wall, but secondarily, you've basically noticed a secret door.
Okay. So I'm like, guys, I don't want to climb anymore. I think I see a door over here. Maybe we should
Secret
try that.
doors are always good, right? Want to keep something
Mhm.
hidden.
Nothing bad ever happens.
I walk up and tap the end of my staff on it.
Yeah,
See
so
if it's hollow.
it does. It does seem as though there's a hollow space behind these stones.
But it's solid.
It is, yeah. So I think so. With that perception check, it's definitely a secret door. Perhaps one that's been magicked a bit to keep it from degrading, but it'll take a skullduggery check to open it.
Ooh. Can I do the skullduggery? That one?
Alternately, someone could do some sort of magic upon it to try to open it. Those are the two options.
Well, I'm willing. I took a turn, so I'm willing to let everybody else take a chat. Or if you guys are good with it, I'll do the skullduggery check.
Go for it.
Yeah, if that's something you're good at.
It's a hard skullduggery check, but you do have those two advantage there.
So, how does the 2 advantage work?
Well, you can use them to get a boost on the check.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And it would just be 1 boost, right?
Yeah, to specify yourself.
Gotcha. And that would be 3 purple dice?
Yes, for a hard.
Okay. There we go.
Holy
Okay.
cow.
So you're able to open that doorway, and as it opens, there's a slight glow around the edges of it. So it was a magicked door, and that's what's kept this section of the wall from the depredations of time.
So I kind of imagine Glint was sort of walking up to the door, sort of feeling around, and just all of a sudden, just like accidentally touching the right thing, and the door sort of swings open, and he smiles over at Malsash and be like, "Ta-da!"
So that threat. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Malshash slow claps.
So Glint, as that door opens and you're making your bow, your foot slips, and just for a second, you think you're going over the edge. Take one strain there as you regain your composure.
Okay, I heard 1 strain, and then you kind of cut out.
Oh, one strain as you regain your composure.
Oh, so yeah, so Glint goes at ta-da, and then like, whoa, and then grabs himself, looks around. He doesn't care. Everybody notices. He still continues the bow, and then walks in.
So inside this doorway, you see a narrow stone staircase leading up higher around the edge of this tower. The staircase seems to rise within the wall.
Is anybody else coming in here with me?
Gord definitely will. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll also for those of us without dark vision, I'll cast a light on the end of my my staff to if there's any darkness in here to be avoided.
Well, that's illuminating.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think here, just the 2 strain, you don't need to make a check for that. So as the group makes its way up this narrow stone staircase that winds its way around the inside of this wall, you go up and up and up. It seems to be maybe 40 or maybe 50 meters as your shoulders are brushing against the sides of this narrow passage. The light from the door below sort of fading away as you curve around. And then ahead, you see some light coming in through a portal above. And so who was going to reach that portal first?
Gord will probably take the lead if no one else is.
Well, definitely not Clint. He's busy getting ready to put earplugs in.
Gord has forgotten about the earplugs.
Yeah,
We're good.
oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, as you guys approach this opening, that chorus of voices, that odd song is growing in volume, and it's strange in nature. It's unlike anything you've heard before. There's maybe hints of bird song in it, but also a chorus of women's voices, maybe.
Harpies.
Yep.
But then as you
Earplugs going in.
there's like an insistence to it, almost as though it's ritualistic.
I will stand next to Gordon. I keep him some tanky company.
Okay, so
I was gonna say I'll drop the light, and instead I'd like to actually cast augment on myself.
okay,
That way I'm hoping that I can help. That'll help me resist whatever this is when the time comes.
okay. So that'll be 2 difficulty. Very cool. 2 successes and an advantage.
For the as I feel the like my ancestors kind of empower me, and I feel like I've gained this new sense of being, that advantage I'm going to spend to reduce a strain,
Okay. So
and then I take the 2 strain from the check too.
7 to 10. Yeah,
That's rough.
it is.
I'm not sure how many more of those I have in my pocket.
Feel your strain.
Gord he's gonna check with Ona. Give him another slap. You feeling all right there? Looking a little beat up.
Yeah. I'll be fine.
So Glint pulls out his health potion and shows it to Ona and say, "You sure you don't want this?"
Want what?
My health potion.
Oh, please, yes. Though, actually, wait, let me check something. I actually have 3 health elixirs, so
Oh,
how
okay.
about you save yours for yourself? Actually, drink mine before we head inside.
So is that Ona's second for the day?
Yeah.
All right, so exactly what you needed,
4.
4 wounds.
Yep.
Okay, so Ona and Gord are at the top of the stairs now, looking out into the central part of this tower. So the interior of the Queen's Tower is about 13 meters across. It's mostly collapsed, creating huge piles of rubble that are overgrown with vines and shrubs. A tall pine tree is grown from the floor and almost reaches the top of the tower walls 60 meters above. Stone beams cross from one curved side of the tower to the opposite wall in sort of a spiraling pattern every 10 meters. So kind of creating floors within this tower, or what would have been floors before everything collapsed. This whole thing kind of shows off the elegant design that Queen Eleanor II created with her amethyst star all those centuries ago. So you guys come out 5 levels up, and looking down to the level below you, this long stone beam that crosses from one side to the other, right in the center is a huge nest. It's a construction of woven branches and vines and bones. And arching up over the nest are 5 stout branches. From each of these hangs a person bound with twisted vines. And below each person is an egg rocking back and forth, in time with the song sung by the 3 harpies that are perched around the inside of the tower. But above that nest on her own perch is a larger harpy queen whose wings are extended as she leads the chorus.
Well, I think it's time I get my crossbow loaded.
Time for me to draw my sword. Nothing else, so.
Do they notice us yet?
Not yet, no. But once you leave this doorway, you will become you'll be easily seen.
So how many eggs and how many people are hanging?
Five people, 5 eggs.
And then 3 harpies and a harpy queen.
Yes.
Oh, what are we waiting for?
Are the people alive?
Yeah,
Wait.
how are they hung? Are they by the neck or?
Well, some are like 2 you see are hung upside down. Some are kind of because they're all kind of bound up in vines. The rest are sort of hung vertically, although one is kind of tipped over on their side.
Are they actually? Do they have the same noble insignia from the people in the carriage?
So you see that the 2 of them are humans and do seem to be dressed as nobles. 2 women, Thelina and Karit, you assume.
We found our missing people.
There's also a dwarf dressed as a tradesman. There's a high ranks hunter and an orc that seems to be dressed as like a sage or a researcher. Other unfortunate prey of the harpies.
So they're busy singing. They don't notice us. If we walk into the room, they're gonna see us. The eggs are moving, most likely ready to hatch. What do we do, guys?
I think there's only one thing to do.
You can see Gord it's like he's preparing to rush in.
There's not much I can do but stick close to Gord since he's the fellow tank.
What range are we away if I were to just stay in the door with my crossbow?
So you guys are at short range to this harpy nest, medium range to the other harpies, and you're the level above the nest, so about 20 to 30 feet above that nest below you.
Okay, well, I think I'm just going to start, just telling the guys, I'm going to start offloading on these guys. Someone's got to get down there and rescue those people.
Someone here stealthy enough to, well, actually, I don't know if it's even possible to try to rescue the people that are hanging without being noticed.
No, I'm pretty stealthy. I'm not super stealthy. I'm 2 green, 1 yellow.
And once we enter, they're gonna notice us immediately, right? There's no, there's just like no opening for us to get around.
If you guys are fighting, they'll probably pay more attention to you guys than the person going up to the food.
It's true.
I'll say too that so you're at the mouth of this opening here, and stretching ahead of you is one of these stone causeways that cross the open space. And so the next one down is where the nest is. So to get down there, you could potentially climb the wall. There are vines that are hanging and growing off of the stone bridge ahead of you, basically, that you could shimmy down.
Like these bodies that are hanging, how high up above the eggs are they? Would they actually get seriously hurt from the fall if they were to get cut down?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, they're definitely within leaping range of a hungry hatchling.
Can I do a perception check to see if there's any sort of flammable things I could try to light up? I'm thinking, hey, alcohol worked beforehand. Is there anything else in that nest that I could try to light?
Yeah, I mean, the nest is constructed of woven branches and vines and bone. It would probably go up if it were lit.
But wouldn't that risk burning the people?
Yeah.
I say, why don't we, I say just go for it. Go full Leroy Jenkins and...
Well, look, the eggs are rocking in time to the song. And if we're going to go Leroy Jenkins, I think we just focus on the Harpy Queen. She seems to be leading them in singing.
I might as well. Wait, is it just the Harpy Queen and then a bunch of X, or were there other Harpy?
There's 3 other Harpies.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's 3 other Harpies.
Yeah, on perches around the edges of.
I'm up for it.
So with my range, am I at medium range with my crossbow? Am I able to tag the Harpy Queen, or is she out of reach?
Yeah, she's short range to the crossbow and medium, and your medium range to the other harpies.
Okay, so I'm thinking I want to fire at this Harpy. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Or do we need to roll initiative?
How about, or we can go full Final Fantasy 9. You could put like a fire spell on my sword, and I'll use it to slash it with a fire effect if that's even a thing.
Can you put a fire effect on my crossbow?
Could. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
there isn't really a mechanism for doing that within the rules.
Okay, I withdraw that suggestion.
Unfortunately.
Let's not make it
That
Flaming
is,
arrows!
I'd say that's awaiting a nice supplement for somebody to publish on the fact.
Woohoo!
That'd be cool.
So how do we go Leroy Jenkins here? Do we roll initiative, or do we get...
Yeah, so essentially
Start
as soon
this
as you guys step out onto this stone bridge, you're going to roll initiative.
Can I fire without stepping out? Do we get an attack of opportunity sort of thing?
Stealth shot.
I think essentially what that...
Because they don't see us.
Yeah, taking that shot from cover would allow you to add 2 blue dice onto your initiative check.
Oh, okay.
Because it's narrative and sort of things are a bit amorphous. Leaning out to take the shot might clue in the harpies. They might catch your movement out of the corner of their eye, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. But it will give me 2 2 boosts.
Yes.
Okay. Shall we do this, boys, or what?
Yes, I'm ready. My sword drawn.
No time like the present.
So we're rolling cool, correct?
Yeah, you guys are rolling cool. And it sounds like narratively, Glint is going to go first.
Is everybody good with me firing off at this harpy?
Do it.
All right.
It's the Glint hour.
Hey. All right. So there. Which one's the harpy? Oh, there she is.
So she was closer to the other harpies. That is closer than the other harpies.
Ooh, adversary 2.
Really?
She's a nemesis.
Ooh. Oh, of course.
So 1 success and a threat.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, I definitely feel threatened by her now.
Yeah. All right. So your bolt strikes true. 10 damage minus her soak of 6. But so that 1 threat. So your bolt strikes her, and her eyes, her head rotates up to look at you, and her eyes narrow as they're glowing from the ritual that's taking place. And as she focuses on you, you're going to take a strain as you realize just how powerful this foe is.
Oh boy, what did I do? What did I do? So does that stop the singing? Because she's like still.
Well, they maintain this odd chorus, but it is changing.
Well, now that I can actually hear them.
Oh yeah, you've got that stuff stuffed in your ears. So the Harpy Queen, she's going to go next. So once per encounter is an out-of-turn incidental, the Harpy Queen can make an opposed deception versus discipline check against 1 character. If successful, the target becomes staggered until the end of her next turn. So she's going to use Enchanting Call on you, Glint. So you're going to roll Discipline without any difficulty, and she's going to roll Deception without any difficulty, and we'll compare the results. You can take a blue die for your stuff you have stuffed in your ears.
Okay. And so do I need to add any of her dice, or do I just roll my own die?
Yeah, you'll just roll Discipline without any difficulty.
Okay. Oof.
She had a nice roll. So you got 2 successes. She got 4 successes, 1 advantage and a triumph. So you are going to be staggered, which means you can't take an action. You can still maneuver until the end of her next turn. But you guys can still arrange for, taking your turns in the right order. You can still end up taking an action next turn.
Okay, so they can still take their turns. It's just affecting me.
Right, and you've already acted for the turn. So.
Yep. All right.
Okay, but so that was an incidental. For her action, well, she'll take a maneuver and rise up into the air, putting her. You're already at short range rather. So she's going to rise up, sort of even with your level. So she was at the 4th level. She's rising up to the 5th, and she's going to cast a curse spell. As she sways back and forth in the air, she's wearing a bone necklace with jewels sort of set into the bones. And
ooh, shiny.
Her swaying causes them to clatter in a rhythmic pattern. So this works for verse spells. It works as an instrument, allowing her to cast additional target for free. And she's going to attempt to curse you guys. So in the doorway, we had Gord, Ona, and Glint. So she'll target Gord and Ona since they're unaffected by her call. And if she gets advantage, she can also get Glint. Oh, I didn't spend the advantage or triumph from the previous check. So we'll just have that triumph downgrade. Let's see who looks most dangerous. Okay, we'll have that downgrade Gord's next check, or rather upgrade the difficulty. And then she'll use that advantage to pass a blue die onto the harpies. And then, so how do you get, so with those 6 successes, Gord and Ona will have 1 less ability die. So 1 less green die on your rolls for as long as the spell remains in effect.
Oh no.
As she casts that spell, you see her necklace glowing, and the wound that the bolt caused in her side begins to close. But how would you guys like to spend that threat?
Is there a way to get her to lower herself so she's not flying above us?
Well, actually, at the moment, she's sort of even with you guys. So if you were to run out onto this bridge, you could be engaged with her.
She be like somehow knocked off balance or something that could give us a die or give her a setback die on her next turn.
That tends to fall into the 2 threat range.
All right.
How about she just takes a strain?
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, we might as well.
So she already took 2 from casting that spell, so that'll be a 3rd strain this round. All right, and it's a PC slot.
Okay, so I mean, again, might as well. Oh, now. How far am I from the queen?
Short range.
Short. So use one maneuver to get closer, and I swing my sword at her.
All right.
But you said I take away 1 green die.
Yes.
And this is average difficulty.
Yeah, so she has 2 ranks of adversary.
Oh, shit.
So it'll be 2 red, and then she has 1 defense. So 1 black.
This is not gonna go well.
You got this.
Oh, hey.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
All right.
I mean, I still got 2 threats, which sucks, but I have to swing my sword.
11 damage.
What's 11?
Minus her soak. Yeah, because you got 3 successes, so 8 plus 3. And then minus her.
I thought 1 success equals the base damage.
Oh, no. Yeah, all successes. Any uncanceled success counts towards damage.
Oh, okay.
All right, so 11 damage minus her soak of 6, so 5 damage. Nice. So I think I'm going to use those 2 threat to give her a free maneuver, which she's going to use to counter song. So as your blade slices through, well, where would you like your blade to hit? You know, it's going to do a little bit. It's going to do about a quarter of her wound threshold in damage.
I was actually hoping it would hit the open wound where the bolt struck.
Ooh, nice.
I was hoping it could hit that. It wouldn't close that fast.
Yeah.
All right, so that wound that was closing up, like you jab the point of your heavy weapon or your heavy sword into that wound and rip it open further. So she lets loose a screech, which reverberates. It reverberates in the spellcaster's ears. So if any spells cast this round, it's going to upgrade the difficulty once, and it's a PC slot.
I'm gonna take my chances on that spell. So I'm going to whip around outside of this door real quick, but I'm going to do it. Actually, before I do anything, I'm going to call upon the end long and regain some of my strain again. So I'll spend a story point for the heroic recovery and get 4 of those strain back, and that's an incidental. So I've got augment up and running, so that's gonna take a maneuver to keep it going. So I'll use parkour here to maneuver between my companions and out into the open. That's going to cost a strain. And I'm going to cast an attack spell. I'm going to use my Spirit Fingers spell, the one that I love so much. This fist that shoots down from the sky onto this harpy's head. Only I've given an extra bit of prayer to my ancestors, and I'm going to cast it as empowered.
Nice. So an attack spell.
She's at short range, you said?
Yes.
That doesn't really matter, but I just have to pick something.
Sure. And of course, an attack spell will still be upgraded by her adversary as well.
Yep, that's in the list there.
Awesome.
And then, did you say one of the other gets upgraded because of just all spells are being upgraded right now?
Yeah, so she's used a maneuver to counter spell.
Yep, got it. Oh, this is going to be a 3 red.
Oh boy.
Wait, no, it should be, because it was just an easy check originally, right?
Yeah, but empowered is a +2 difficulty.
Wow, nice.
High risk, high reward.
But
Come
I'm also augmented, so I get an additional green die on this check.
You got
Thankfully.
this.
So yeah, here comes the Spirit Fingers.
Here comes the boom.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
I may have to join your cult after all.
So this fist slams down, but because of empowered, it actually does additional damage. So that's going to be, instead of 9, it's going to be 13 damage.
Nice.
Because it doubles the base damage of that spell. So 13 damage before soak, and man, since empowered doesn't require advantage to activate, I'm gonna spend these 2 advantage to heal strain.
Heard that.
Just from the power of the Anlong pumping through me and getting this huge hit.
Okay, so with
But then I take 2 strains and I'm right back.
it balances
But
out in the
hey,
end, right?
yeah,
Okay.
that's rare, so I'll take it.
So 13 damage with her soak of 6. That's 7 more. So describe this hit that, like, I mean, it doesn't, I mean, she still is kicking. She's still got some wounds to she's not done, but it is a pretty substantial hit, and it's going to greatly upset this Harpy Queen. So what exactly does that look like?
So I imagine, like, this fist falls from the sky and just smashes into her, and I just imagine like her kind of like feathers flying around, and she's got to take a second to actually kind of get her, keep from actually like falling, out of the sky, I guess. And so, yeah, as it almost like when the fist hits, it almost emanates this like blue wave outward from it, and just very impressive.
Excellent. Okay, so now we have another PC slot.
I guess Gord is it's his time. Let's see. He's not really liking this. He's cursed and he upgrades the difficulty of his next check. So whatever he does, it could go horribly wrong. And I guess he was thinking of casting a spell, but just the noise from the song, it's too distracting for him. So he's changing plans. He's gonna rush in. He's gonna start singing as well. Very off key and horrible, arguably worse than the like more damaging than the Harpies song. But
Let's hear
oh, don't make me do it's like sort of wordless and just like, just it's like calling it melodic would be that wouldn't be the right word, but he's just sort of singing to as he charges in toward this Harpy Queen, mace raised high. So she was at short range, so he'll spend a maneuver to engage. He'll spend 2 strain to do another maneuver to aim.
All right. Well, I think I have to spend a GM story point to upgrade the difficulty.
I already have so many upgrades.
I know, it's just such a dramatic moment. I feel like this is the time.
Can I spend a story point as well? Then?
Of course.
Is that allowed?
Absolutely. Yes.
Hey, after that performance, you deserve it.
All right. So Harpy Queen engaged and a boost. I remove a green from the curse, but I'm upgrading, so I add that green back. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. If there isn't any other greens to turn to yellow.
No, it would just be 2 yellow. So, this is quite a pool.
Oh,
What?
That's awesome.
Yes.
Nice.
2 successes, a threat, a triumph, and a despair.
Well, the Harpy does take 9 damage, which I know they have plenty of soak, but it's better than nothing.
You could spend the triumph to crit.
That's probably I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
So do I roll that or do you?
Well, I roll it. Yeah, there's a way to roll it on the game table.
Okay.
So you brought her very close to the end of her wound threshold with just the damage alone.
Oh.
But now we're going to see the crit. Ooh. Increase the difficulty of the target's next check by 1.
I had the better song. That's why.
Hands down.
So I have a threat and a despair, though.
Yeah. Well, I think the threat has to be...
Am I going over the edge here? Am I tumbling down?
No, I think the threat has to be a strain, as you you are going all out in this moment.
It's hard to sing with all this noise in here. Yeah.
As your mace collides with this Harpy Queen, she is vibrating with the power of this ritual, and that collides with the raw power that comes from your devotion to Careless, and it results in a vibration that shakes your mace in your hand, and a crack runs up the shaft.
Oh no!
It'll be damaged that'll add a black die to attacks you make with your mace.
My baby.
So now we have the Harpies. They are going to rise up from their perches, use a maneuver to close to short range of the group. of everybody, and they're going to try to cast a healing spell on their queen.
No.
So 1 purple check, and then they get that blue that she provided last turn, and they heal 4 of her wounds.
What?
A 4 is not bad.
So now we reach the end of the round, and because the Harpy Queen is such a powerful nemesis, I'm using the second activation rules, which can be found at the end of the Genesys core rulebook. So she is going to use her maneuver to move to short from everybody, like go back down toward the nest. And her action is to sing out a encouraging song to the eggs.
Oh no.
No.
One of them cracks and falls open,
Oh no.
and a tiny harpy chick worms its way out of the shell and spreads its sticky wings. It looks around and looks up toward the unfortunate soul captured and suspended above it, and
Crap.
it leaps upward onto the orc and rips into its flesh, spilling its guts onto the nest.
Yeesh.
Blah.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
I'm thinking we should have done something about those harpy babes.
Well, my guy's staggered, right? So does that mean I can spend 2 strain to do 2 maneuvers, or do I only get the 1 maneuver?
You would. You lose your action for the round. So you could, because when you get 1 maneuver for free, and then you have the option of turning your action into a maneuver. So when you're staggered, you can still spend 2 strain for a second maneuver, but you just can't downgrade your action into a maneuver.
So would it take 2 maneuvers, like 1 for me to run out onto the ledge and then 1 to jump down into the nest, or would I be able to just jump directly into the nest?
Let's see. From where you are, you'd probably want to move out into the middle and then jump down. Because
Okay,
if you can
that'll take 2
imagine,
maneuvers.
if you can imagine like a helix, like a DNA helix, as these sort of bridges of stone, each one is at a slight angle to the other. But I'll also say, if you wait till after the Harpy Queen acts, you'll no longer be staggered.
Oh, so if she acts first, my staggered's gone.
Exactly.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But it is a PC slot.
Okay, I am going to get weird.
Do it.
I've still have augment going. I'm not going to concentrate to have it go for another round because my strain threshold is already just crushing me. But I'm going to conjure a giant snake
Oh yeah.
down below near the other harpy eggs on the side, the closest, I guess. Are they all these things hanging right above the? They're all the eggs are in the nest.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna conjure this snake in the harpy nest.
Make sure it's a hungry snake.
Yeah, I'm not summoning ally. I'm just
Nice.
I'm just conjuring. And so that's gonna be the conjure is easy, but then the grand summon is +2.
Okay.
I get a plus a green die for my augment, and I'm gonna let her rip.
So let's see. She doesn't have the effect of the counter spell.
Okay, so it's just gonna be 3 purple then.
Yes, sir. Nice. Okay. So you've summoned a giant snake, right, in this nest?
Yeah, and I have the stats. I can post them to you if you need
Well-
them. It's a rival.
Yeah, I think it's fair for you to make the attack for the snake. So since it comes into being in this nest, there's 4 eggs and a harpy chick that's sort of like feasting on the guts of this poor orc. The snake, I think, my determination as GM would be that the snake would concentrate on these eggs.
Yeah, it says that the snake would behave in the best approximation of its natural instincts, and I figured snakes like eggs. So
That makes sense to me.
since I didn't summon an ally, I can't actually command it, but I was just fingers crossed that you would agree that it wanted to eat it.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I'm a fan of the players, and this is an awesome summon. So the snake is going to attack the eggs, and they are a minion group, essentially. So it'll just make a normal brawl attack with its weapon. And I think it has the special ability of engulf. Is that not true? Or swallow?
Yeah, it does. Looking here again. Yes, swallow. It makes an opposed brawl check to swallow an engaged target. If the check is successful, they are immobilized and suffer 6 damage at the start of each round.
All right. Well, the only one of these, I mean, I think the chick would probably count as a separate entity to these eggs. I don't know if it's fair to call them a minion group when they can't do anything. So I think just as an action, this snake can swallow an egg. You know, that makes sense to me.
Just waiting for a heartbeat to burst out of the snake.
Well, you have to maintain that summon, right? Otherwise, it will vanish, and the egg will just be. Although, as it's like constricting it inside its body, it might smash and destroy it.
Yes.
So I think it's fair to say, because doesn't when something's swallowed, does it take a certain amount of damage per round?
6.
Okay.
6. It takes 6 damage. So a swallowed character is immobilized, and then it suffers 6 damage at the start of each round. It can try to escape if the snake is killed, or by making a successful hard athletics check.
So I think it would be fair to say that each round the snake can swallow an egg, and at the beginning of the next round it'll crush it for as long as the snake is active.
Okay.
So during this round it swallows an egg, and at the beginning of its next turn that egg will be crushed and destroyed.
Perfect. That sounds great.
So now we move.
And I believe it acts right after my turn. I'm not really sure how that acts.
Yeah, summoned creatures act essentially immediately upon being summoned.
That's okay.
Yeah, and then on your turn every round. Okay, so we move on to an NPC slot, and that will be the.
Oh, I am actually going to. I'm going to use my maneuver to take cover.
Okay, so that'll add a black die to any attacks. So an NPC slot is next, and that will be the Harpy Queen. So seeing what's going on with the snake, oh boy, does she use her action to have another egg hatch?
She's a mother.
I'm sorry?
Well, mother instincts, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or does she just attack the snake? I think she'll probably just attack. Oh, you know what she'll probably try to do is dispel that snake. I think her first reaction at the beginning of this, let's see, it won't really matter. One way or another, she'll be dispelling the snake before. Okay, so she's going to attempt to dispel. So that is a hard verse check.
No.
Can we spend a story point to up the difficulty?
You can.
What do you think, guys? Should we do it? I want the snake to live.
Yeah, that snake was probably pretty helpful, huh? I think it's worth it.
Yeah, we all start screaming and flapping our arms like chickens and stuff, trying to distract her.
I'm still singing.
No. Hey, you. Hey.
If I wasn't staggered, I'd make a big grand gesture.
All right,
So yeah, we're flipping it.
Ooh, the last
Let's
story
do it.
point. Ooh.
Damn it.
Well,
no.
Now magic threats are a bit different from regular threats. There's a separate table for spending them.
Is that in the Terranoth book, or is that the core book?
It's in the core book under alternate rules for magic.
On page 211 of the Genesys core rulebook.
Thank you.
For those following along at home.
Goodbye, sweet snake. We hardly knew you.
It was such a good idea.
For 2 threat, the spell doesn't take effect until the start of the next round.
I was gonna say, if I was smart, I should have done that after its turn, but oh well.
I think no, but I think that's good because with the start of the next
So like
round,
it could at least crush an egg and then get dispelled, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's how I would. That's how I would rule that.
So that would put us down to 3 eggs left.
Does that sound good to the group?
Sure.
Works for me.
Okay, so her discordant song strikes a note that is going to counteract this summoning spell, but it will take a while to come to a fruition. And meanwhile, we have a PC slot.
Okay, so now I'm no longer staggered, right?
That's right.
And we said as long as I'm not moving, I can keep firing the crossbow without having to reload.
Yes.
And am I within range of the eggs?
Yeah, they're short.
Oh, hey.
They're short range.
It's a little. I just noticed this. Dispel is only available to Arcana.
Yeah, so it's also available if you look in Realms of Terranoth. It's also available to verse casters.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know if anybody wants to go first, but I mean, I could try popping one of these eggs, or I could try attacking the harpy, and I'm not sure if that would do anything to her dispel magic. Is there a way of interrupting it with an attack?
I think it's already been cast.
It's been cast, but I mean, if you were to take her out before the spell takes effect, I think I think this girl would fizzle.
I was gonna say,
And she's
I
looking
think it'd be
at-
best to focus on the queen because she wasn't far off from dying.
Take her down.
Yeah, and if they're
Hmm.
healing her,
Yeah, but it was only like 4 wounds that were healed. That's not a whole lot.
hmm
My sword can deal like almost 10 damage. So
yeah, I'm just thinking that even if we take out the Harpy Queen, the eggs seem to be hatching, and if we don't do something, we're not gonna have anybody left to rescue. So, but yeah, maybe we should take out the Harpy Queen. Does everybody mind if I go first?
go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay.
If the queen dies, the eggs will still hatch.
I guess we'll find out.
Now, can I use no? So I'm using my maneuver to reload. And what is she? Short distance?
She is.
Short
yeah,
range?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You can spend 2 strain to do a second maneuver.
Oh, you don't need to spend a maneuver to reload. Yeah. That prepare quality, according to the ruling or the reading of the way that the prepare quality works, you only have to do the maneuver to prepare the weapon once, unless you
Okay.
move or are disrupted by an enemy.
So I could technically add an aim to this then.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so I'd like to go ahead and do that. So that's just 1 blue die, right? And then I take 2 black dies next attack. Is that how aim works?
No, it's just 1 blue die to your attack. The 2 black dice come if you want to aim at a specific part of the target.
Oh, okay. So I will aim and fire. Here we go.
Oh, and the bolt goes wide. We do have an advantage.
And so, can I pass a boost?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'd like to do that then.
So who's
I wanna
going
go
next?
Whoever's going next, get that boost.
So the queen, she did not maintain that curse spell. So Ona and Gord aren't going to. You're not going to reduce your pool this round.
Is she like down below us now?
She is. She's at short range, but she is below you. Pretty much directly below you.
Drop
Okay.
down on top of her.
So, okay,
How big
Is
a
it a-
fall is it?
Yeah, rider.
is it a big drop or
It is like 20 feet.
crap? Yeah. So the only way to get there is to use my climbing gear, go my way down. Sucks.
Lunging strike.
And that'll be an action. Is that right?
Yes.
Nah, boy. I have like 6 strain. That'll kill me or knock me out at least.
Well, can't you use a maneuver to interact with the environment?
We're on a bridge. What is there?
Tie a
Is there
line
something?
around your
Like,
waist.
is there like a big rock up there you can try to like push to knock her down?
There's Gord. You could toss him.
I don't know if we're traveling in PC territory anymore.
Oh, what about the other harpies?
They are, yes, they have risen up when they heal the queen.
They're still on top.
Yeah, you could use a maneuver to get engaged with the Arby's.
Well, I might as well do that. I don't want to waste my turn just climbing down. Okay, so I will attack the group of harpies.
Okay. So they just have 1 defense.
So it's a average check with I got the duelist setback die.
Nice.
Oh, that was lucky.
So 11 damage. Their soak is 3. So describe how you take out one of these harpies.
I basically just run towards them, and the first one that I reach, I will just completely rip out one of their wings and then just stab them when they're suffering on the ground.
Oh, gruesome.
Who's next?
Who wants some?
Yeah, PC slot next.
So Gord's up above this Harpy Queen, and then how big a fall is it past? Like, if
Well,
hypothetically,
yeah.
if someone were to jump and miss,
right. So
Do you want to risk that?
it's about from here. It is like over 100 feet down to the ground.
oh, okay, never
But
mind.
there's several, crisscrossing stone archways between the walls on the way down.
So just stuff to hit as I fall, then. Or
Yeah, exactly. Right.
just like bounce off of it.
No, but there's also vines as well.
You have your rope. Tie yourself off.
I don't have a rope, but what I
Oh.
do have is fire.
Although
Ah.
you technically didn't give me my climbing gear back, so I think you may have it.
I think whoever had it last, I wasn't the last person to climb up, so I think I'm
Well,
gonna.
technically, I was pulled up.
I think it's Malshash.
Yeah.
With this thing, so I don't think this thing would qualify for holy, as the antithesis of my character's faith, I think he's probably more against the undead.
I mean, you just talked yourself out of that.
Yeah. He's gonna go for this is short range. He's gonna go for the attack spell with empowered.
Okay.
Because he needs it. He needs that boost. He is gonna aim it. So that would be 3 purple and 2 upgrades.
Correct.
So 2 red and a purple.
Right.
And a black for its range defense. All right. You're not gonna spend a story point and make me roll 3 red, are you?
No, not this time.
Oh, come on.
Oh man.
Oh, burn.
Ooh, you're rolling like Glint now.
All right, well, I take my 2 strain for 1 advantage. Yeah, I guess let Kelos Flames light the way for whoever is next. I'll pass a boost die to the next ally.
Awesome. Okay, so the harpies that are engaged with Ona are going to claw with their talons at him. Oh, they miss. But they do get an advantage, which they'll use to regain a strain, basically. And then we get that second activation of the Harpy Queen, and again, she'll sing out and cause another egg to crack and hatch. And this time,
wasn't she dispelling the snake?
yeah. So she did that with her action in her normal turn, but she has the Nemesis second activation, which is a alternate rule available in the Genesys core rulebook.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she's just using it each round to have another egg hatch, which she does here. And so another egg hatches, and a hatchling bursts forth, tips over a bit, its wings flapping and getting stuck in the vines, but then it focuses on the dwarf above it, and it launches itself upward and rips into the dwarf's flesh. And we have a PC at the top of the round.
So I didn't use my advantage. Could I use it to heal a strain?
Yes.
I feel inspired.
So if I'm not mistaken, the snake disappears, but one of the eggs was crushed, right?
Yes, that's what we decided, yeah.
Yeah, so by my count, there's still 2 eggs, but 3 survivors hanging.
Correct.
Well, Glint's going to try shooting that Harpy Queen again. Everybody good with me going first?
Go ahead.
Or does anybody else think they have a better chance here?
Go for it.
All right. And I'm going to aim again.
Oh, nice.
Well, that's a nice hit.
All right, this is my first triumph, I think.
So 10 damage minus her soak of 6. Man.
You can crit.
Oh, how does that work?
It's up to you if you want to spin it that way. You can spin a triumph to do something cooler than that, or something other than that if you want, but you can use it to activate a critical.
So is it possible to know, like, does the damage do enough to take her out, or before knowing?
It brings her very close, but does not do enough to take her out.
Okay, well, I think I want to use it to crit if that's possible.
It certainly is.
And she should get a +10 because of the other crit, right?
Yes.
Distracted. Too busy with her ex.
So yeah, that bolt strikes true, spins her about, and she kind of gets lost amongst her own wings.
Does she fall onto the eggs?
Well, she can't perform a free maneuver, so she's basically stuck trying to keep herself righted in the air as her wings stretch back out and flap around. So that snake is dispelled, and she screams in anger as she sees one of her hatchlings left dead amidst the bones and vines of her nest.
Okay, so I still get an advantage, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I see on the table it says I can notice a single important point in the ongoing conflict.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just realized this, and if it's too late, then it's too late. You were supposed to have a boost die from Gord on that attack as well.
Oh, really?
But I mean, if it's too late to do that, we can just give it to the next person.
No, that's all right. Yeah, you can roll it and see what we get there.
Okay. It was worth a try.
It was worth a try. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, I think I'd like to see if I can find anything that's going to help us out trying to save these people. So I'd like to use my advantage for that if there's anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm open to suggestions. Does anyone think of something advantageous that advantage might bring?
Well, I was thinking initially I had mentioned about maybe there's like some sort of boulder or rock that we can like push off one of these ledges to try to land on either eggs or on the Harpy Queen.
Oh, yeah. All right. How about this? Like, so a section of this rock walkway that you guys are on, you can see that it's come loose and it's only held by the vines that have grown around it. So I think a simple attack, so an attack without difficulty that just succeeds, could free that rock and send it plunging down toward the nest below.
Awesome. And everybody else sees it, right?
Yes, indeed.
Excellent.
Or at least
So,
you could
yeah.
point it out to them.
Yeah, so after I was shooting Glint's like, guys, look over there. And as he points to the rope, you guys all look and you see it. And I think we all get the same idea in our head. Let's destroy this nest.
And so on the Harpy Queen's turn, she can't use a free maneuver, but she will use her action to emit her keening call and crack a third egg. This one below the Hyrinx. And as the Harpy hatchling frees itself, it's spreading its sticky wings. Its hungry gaze turns upward.
Oh no.
It springs up and claws with its talons at the Hyrinx's neck and sends a gout of blood onto the nest below.
Oh jeez.
1 egg, 2 survivors, guys.
PC turn.
Okay. Guess I'll go. You know what? I am going to. You said the queen is almost there, almost defeated.
She's very close, yeah.
She's still down below.
If you take out that rock, though, man, and let it go down to the nest, maybe you could take out the nest and leave the survivors hanging by the tree.
Could, but we still got these 2 harpies to worry about. Could potentially heal the queen. I'm gonna attack the other harpies. I'm already engaged with them.
All right.
And I will use the aim maneuver. Do I get a setback die for something?
Oh, they have 1 defense.
Oh, right. So, I just noticed near the end of the game, my sword has a rank in Pierce, which means that it ignores 1 point of soak.
I did apply that on the last attack.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, but I hadn't noticed it before that. So unfortunately,
That's
the
fine.
previous attacks didn't get it. Nice.
Well done.
So 9 damage with 1 pierce. All right, describe how you take out these 2 harpies.
Both of them die?
Both of them die.
Okay, one
2 birds, 1 arrow.
one gets beheaded and the other gets stabbed in the chest, and I just cut it open.
Ooh, gruesome.
No one's healing you now, queen.
All right, so Zona takes out the 2 remaining full-grown harpies. Only the queen and her hatchlings are left. We have a PC slot next.
So the thought is, if we wedge this rock free, it will hopefully take out the nest.
Or at least the egg.
I don't think we can afford to have all of these people we came to rescue die. So I think Gord's.
I promised Dress that we would save her mom or his mom or whoever's mom.
Yeah, our honor kind of depends on it. So I think Gord's gonna focus on that. Trying to drop a rock onto the eggs below.
Yes, simple attack.
Yeah, so any sort of attack with no difficulty.
All right, I'm gonna get the setback because my mace is damaged. Okay.
Oh yeah.
We're successes. All right, so
Nice.
you smash through the vines that are holding this huge boulder. It's all the only thing that's holding these straining vines are the only thing holding this rock. And as you set it loose, it tumbles through the air, smashes into the nest, obliterating it. The nest crumbles and falls, raining bone and vines and branches down far down onto the earth below, some bouncing and colliding with the other stone archways that arch back and forth across the space. The last egg tumbles through the air, along with the 3 harpy hatchlings that have already freed themselves from their eggs, and the whole lot of them go crashing all the way down, smashing onto the stones below. Fortunately, the 2 nobles, bound as they are in the vines, hanging from these branches, are more firmly secured than the rest of the nest. And so, although they are screaming in terror, they do not plummet to their death.
They're still able to scream. That's good.
I'll save you. Don't worry.
Let's scramble some eggs.
As a maneuver, Gord's gonna use them. Well, I guess did it take a maneuver to get to that rock?
No, you were kind of standing right there, right where Glint was when he discovered it.
He's gonna challenge the Harpy Queen. Just gonna use that talent. Just taunt her like you're next.
Where'd your babies go? Ha ha ha.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she definitely turns her glowing eyes upon you. All right, we have 1 more PC slot in the round.
I think I'm the only one left then. So I'm going to pull out all the stops, and I'm going to cast my infamous spirit fingers, but this time with impact. As I cast this spell and I smack my staff down this time, instead 2 fists come out from either side of me and swirl around to try to smack the harpy queen from both sides. And I'm gonna aim. You know what? I'm gonna get crazy and aim twice.
Ooh.
Might as well use all that remaining strain into your threshold.
I might as well.
Oh,
Oh no!
Oh my god!
Oh, that is unfair. So 0
Wow.
successes, 4 advantage. So what are you thinking to do with those 4 advantage?
I'm gonna. So as the fists come flying around, she definitely maneuvers between them, but it puts her off kilter and kind of leaves her exposed. So I'm going to negate her defense for the next PC that attacks her,
Nice.
and then I'll pass a boost as well.
Okay.
And I take 2 strain from my spell casting.
Are you conscious still?
I have 1 strain left,
Nice.
so I can still cast 1 more spell and then pass out.
So the Harpy Queen gets her extra Nemesis activation at the end of the round. With no eggs left to hatch, she focuses all her rage on the one who destroyed her nest. So she uses her maneuver to close from short to engage with Gord, and she's going to try to rip into him with her talons.
Oh shoot!
Oh no.
Bring it on.
And I'll spend a story point to upgrade this roll.
Oh yeah. You'll need it.
Love the confidence.
Can we flip it right back? Is that a thing you can do?
Yeah. You want to upgrade the difficulty?
Should we?
I would.
Yeah, man, do it.
Might as well.
All right, so she's got a red, purple, and 2 black on this roll.
Oh man.
Oh boy. All right, so she's focused all of her rage upon you. You know, it's kind of like the last.
I would be remiss if I. She's supposed to get a boost die against me too.
Oh.
I know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you for being honest. Okay.
Love the laugh.
okay.
Oh, thank God.
Every time I do that, it ends up as blank. I know that's happened at least twice. So
Okay, 8 points of damage with Pierce 2, and then she is going to use. She'll use Ensnare with those 2 advantage. That's Ensnare 2 for 2 rounds you can't move, and she's got you in her talons.
Oh snap!
is she gonna drop me?
Yeah, right. That triumph is going to be a critical.
Brutal.
Dang. Gotta save our friend.
Fearsome wound.
Ooh.
Oh, it's a scar. It'll look nice. It'll look good. Scars tell a story, right?
Yeah, all presence and willpower checks upgraded by 1. Nice. Oh no, the difficulty's increased of all presence and willpower checks. So what is that wound?
I don't know. I'd imagine he probably, since it's affecting his presence, probably like in the face. Probably took a slash across the face or something, and just the blood in his eyes.
Did you lose an ear by chance?
Ooh, maybe. Yeah, that perhaps.
Gruesome. Yeah, so there's Gord held in the Harpy Queen's claws, his face rent open by her talons.
Now I don't have to listen to that singing anymore, you know?
That's true. Okay, a PC slot at the beginning of the round.
Well, I mean, I could try shooting her again with my crossbow. I noticed that the book, it says it's got a pierce of 2, but I'm not sure how to add that to the...
Oh, that... so actually, this Harpy Queen probably would not be active with that pierce. But, you know...
Let's finish her off.
Such are the wages. So that difficulty's 1 purple. It'll be upgraded twice because she has adversary 2, and then once more because she's engaged with one of your allies. So the difficulty will be 2 red.
And is her defense still negated, or has that passed already?
I think it was for the
Can't remember.
round, right?
It is. It says, until the end of the current round.
Okay.
That was a waste. Oh well.
Oh, so right now she's got... I aimed as well, but right now she's got 1 purple and 1 black and 2 up arrows.
Yeah, so you'll want to remove the purple and add a red, and that'll do it.
Okay.
Oh no, that's going to hit Gord.
Oh,
Sorry, Gord.
So what's the base damage of the crossbow?
Let's see here. 7.
So 7
Pierce 2.
with Pierce 2.
Mhm. Oh, now we count the
Yeah, Nick,
pierce.
I'm glad you noticed that pierce too for Gord.
I'm still kicking. It's all right.
Yeah. Oh man, Gord, I'm sure you're gonna give Glent a real hard time about that around the fire later.
I'm just like, "Yeesh."
He probably hasn't noticed yet. He still thinks it's the harpy doing it.
It's definitely the harpy. She just had an extra claw.
He doesn't see the bolt sticking out of him.
Oh boy.
So let's see. Gord, you were like all gathered together with everyone else, right? Malshash and Ona. Or no, Ona was separate from the rest of the group because
Well, no, he's close to Glint, so Glint would be there.
Okay. So the harpy's gonna keep her grasp around Gord and then make a talon attack on Glint as well. Ooh. So 9 damage with Pierce 2.
Holy cow.
And we'll use that triumph for a critical on Glint.
Okay, so this is going straight to wounds, right?
Right. So 9 damage minus your soak, but Pierce 2 ignores 2 of those soak.
So I go full damage then.
You click that little polyhedral on the right side of the dice,
Okay.
and then down below you'll see roll crit.
Oh, I see.
All right. Well, that may
Going
not
live.
come up, hopefully.
Let's hope.
Okay. So a PC slot as the Harpy Queen flails about trying to damage any of you she can.
I go next. How far am I from the queen? Short range?
Sorry, I think you're short. Yeah.
Yeah, I was attacking the other harpies, so I'm guessing I'm short. Okay, so I'll use one maneuver to get next to the queen, and I spend 2 strength to use aim, and I slash my sword at the queen.
Don't hit me.
Unfortunately, it's not a
That's why-
missile weapon.
That's why I used aim. Die, and die.
If I die, at least let it be the harpy that kills me.
Okay,
Not the plunge to the ground below.
here we go.
Oh.
Oh, yes!
Nice.
Yes.
Well, that damage is enough to finish off the Harpy Queen.
Yeah.
So what does that look like, Ona?
So it's probably gonna be like a rock or something on the ground. I run towards the rock. I jump off of it and I just hit the queen. I cut off the talon and I free Gord. The queen just falls down the shaft.
Bouncing from rock pillar to rock pillar.
Yeah, like it just disappears into the abyss.
Nice. She slams against the floor far below.
Yeah, and I do the cloud strike victory pose.
Victory.
We only lost 3 civilians, right?
You're right.
Yeah, but only the 2 that mattered are count.
They weren't the important ones. All right. So after some careful climbing down walls and vines, you're able to free the ladies Thelina and Karit Orisay. And they thank you profusely, but their first concern, of course, is their child Press. Is he safe? Have you seen him?
We have. He's safe with the maiden.
We have freed and protected your child. Dress is well and protected by her, whatever the other one was.
Yeah, the nursemaid.
Yeah, the nursemaid, yes. They are at the road waiting for a ride home. I gave them some gold so that way they can pay for a ride, but they are in good spirits. They'll be happy to see you returned.
Well, Lady Thelina gathers herself, regaining some of her dignity, and she says, Thank you, heroes. Come with me to Highcrest, and there you will be honored as the heroes you are. We have money that we can give you as reward, but more than that, I think you deserve a proper ceremony to honor your deeds. Know that you will forever be known as the heroes of the Queen's Tower.
Time to celebrate, lads.
I only wish we could have done more.
Yay!
Yay!
I kind of envision a medal ceremony like at the end of Star Wars.
Yeah, there's soaring orchestral music and
Yeah. Oh, that's what's going on in Glenn's head right
Yeah,
now. He's
right.
like, yeah.
Gord's missing an ear, and he's
Right.
still got a bolt sticking out of his like left butt cheek or something across the bolt.
Jeez, I don't know how that got there, man. Can I have the bolt back? They're not cheap. Well, Heroes of Highcrest, this was a hoot, man. Really enjoyed this. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and thanks for
Thanks.
running, Ryle.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you,
Ryle. This
Ryle.
was-
Yeah, thank you all for playing, and I hope that anyone listening enjoyed.